I get both views. I really do.
Yeah, I'm kind of that way myself. Like I kind of see.
I don't like you're looking at it and you just like this is really tacky. But you can also use it as ammo for these shutdowns. Like we just served a bunch of people at McDonald's, Burger King, and all these other places because we can't even feed people who we decided to bring in for banquets. But they say there was reportedly an argument before the shooting. That's probably going to be a history book someday.
Oh, you know damn well it will be.
It's going to be a picture of Trump
doing this will
in front of his table at McDonald's.
They will take every opportunity to attack him for it. The other thing is that he eats this stuff all the time.
I'm sure he does.
Like on the campaign trail, he was known for getting McDonald's and Wendy's and things like that. So for him, it's like I'm a billionaire and I eat this crap all the time.
What else do you eat on a road trip except fast food and gas?
Yeah, but he's got a personal jet with a staff around him.
It's the principle, Casey.
It's the principle.
It's the principle of it. He's on a road trip. You're allowed to eat fast food.
Oh, Mr. Robertson is here. Hey, everybody. Check that out. New sponsor, yo.
Oh, word.
Signs of the times. If you like them new stickers that you got, came from them.
Oh, people who die cut them?
Them's is my boys, yep. So pretty stoked to have them on. Technically, they don't come on until tomorrow, but I'm giving them an extra day. You know why? Because Les and the crew are awesome. That's why. Link to their website, which you should all go to, is in the description of this video.
I'm sure he wouldn't care that much if you said doobly-doo.
Doobly-doo? That's some jiggery pokery right there. Speed Demon. Jiggery pokery is an old term. Speed Demon, LOL, BurgerGate is a thing. Come on, lefties, how pathetic.
Oh, is that what this is? Is that what we're calling it?
This is a BurgerGate. Well, I'm calling it BurgerGate because we haven't had a gate in a while. I feel like we went a period where everything was a gate, and now nothing's been a gate in a while. So I feel like everything has to be a gate now. We got to find some parity here. We're simulcasting on WoWo today.
Whoa.
FYI.
Whoa.
So the Fort Wayne listening audience gets to bathe and bask in our awesomeness. Always good to have the Fort Wayne folks listening in.
It still bothers me that this is running like on XP. I think it's either XP or 7.
Oh, 7 would be a hell of a lot better than XP.
It might be 7. 7 would make a lot more sense, I think. But 7 and XP kind of look the same.
All right, so Alex, here's what I said earlier this month about the window behind me. I gave Federated Media and the station 1 month, and that was what, the 5th?
Yeah.
January 5th or so. So I gave them 1 month to fix this situation behind me, or I'm doing it on my own.
It might have been earlier than that.
Well,
I think it was like the day you came back. So
I'm going to count February 1st. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to order a tapestry and hang it up behind me. Because they're trying to say, no, we have to have like the MNC logo behind there and everything else. I said, not if I pay for it. If I pay for it, it's whatever I want behind me is going there. And then y'all can change that up later if you want to. But
here's how it works.
With Rate Shield, you can lock your interest rate while you shop.
7-1.
So if rates go up, you don't have
Windows
to
7.
worry. And here's the best part: if rates go down, you get the lower rate. With Rate Shield, we really have you covered. Here are more reasons why you want to work with America's largest mortgage lender. For 9 years in a row now, JD Power has ranked.
I have had more McDonald's than normal this week, and it has been scrumptious every single day. Although they totally jacked up my daughter's food the other day. She got a hamburger Happy Meal with some chicken nuggets on the side, and they gave her 2 chicken nuggets, and they did not give her a toy. She was a little irritated by that. Yeah. No toy. She was mad. She wanted a monster truck. She was mad. But I didn't have enough time to turn around. Wife had an appointment to get to, man. So technically I owe her a monster truck. What's up, Billy?
Starting around $100 a month. It's all about the fun, sitting around the campfire with your wife and with your kids, or taking that stroll on the beach, or
I think the funniest thing about this is that they were fact-checking the president on the food. I think that's the most ludicrous aspect of this entire thing. Well, he's like, oh yeah, we got, hamburgers piled a mile high. So they actually fact-checked how many hamburgers that would be. That's Washington Post for you. The president lies all the time. It's friggin' figure of speech, you dimwit, but okay. It's like saying hot as hell. We don't actually know how hot hell is, but it would be significantly hotter than 350 degrees. Oh, all right, here we go. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-3. That's 2595953. Also covering for Pat Miller today on News Talk 1190 WOWO 107.5 FM. I do want to thank the Fort Wayne listening audience for joining us. Also want to thank our wonderful sponsors, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. They have a basic pistol course coming up this weekend, Sunday, the 20th, noon to 4, $125 each. This is an amazing course, ladies and gentlemen. If you are a new shooter or you're looking to shore up your fundamentals, take this class. Go to secondamendmentarms.net to get more information about that. All right, let's just start this off with the absolute absurd. Okay, by the way, we have a lot of absurd today. Tons. But I want to talk about BurgerGate. Let's talk about BurgerGate, shall we? For those of you who do not know, the college football national champions, Clemson Tigers, whom I told you months ago is the best team in football, and y'all said I was crazy, they went to the White House. See, they didn't skip out like other teams have. They actually went to the White House, and they were served fast food by the president. So naturally, this is the greatest scandal in the history of all scandals that doesn't involve Russia, although I did see a bunch of people make it about Russia on social media. I mean, they're cracking jokes, don't get me wrong, but it was, Vladimir Putin's trying to ruin our athletes or whatever. I don't know. People are dumb. So anyway, the Clemson Tigers get to the White House. A bunch happened, and actually a lot of amazing stuff happened. However, they only are focusing on the food. Now, you have to understand, most of the White House staff is furloughed. Okay, so they're not there. They're not working. The president paid for this on his own. Oh, but he has more money. He doesn't have to buy fast food. Okay, but the president eats fast food all the time. Like, he loves fast food. So he's always eating fast food. It's one of the things that people joke about with him. And, if he's a billionaire and he can eat fast food, certainly it's good enough for some athletes who have been on strict dietary regimens over the past season. We're probably looking to let loose a little bit, right? So that's what his line of thinking is on this. And so the media outlets have started to really go absolutely nuts. Now, I went on to the Twitter of the coach. So the coach tweeted out a picture of a bunch of Big Macs on silver platters, and he said silver platter and had the championship trophy on there. And then the comments underneath it were, "Oh, I'm so sorry this happened to you guys," and all that other stuff. And they ignored all of the other tweets around that, where he was tweeting about how great the White House staff was, and paying respect to that Purdue superfan who passed away here recently. And, they ignored all of that stuff, but they were really, really focused on the fact that these football players were given hamburgers and pizza and things of that nature. Really didn't like. There was salad there. I mean, they did have some salad options for the creepazoid weirdos on the team. So here's where things I think get so interesting, though. So the media, in spite of people being outraged about this, and I was talking to Joe about this before the show. And he says, at first glance, it looks a little tacky, and I can appreciate that. And I'm kind of in the middle on this because I like my higher end food, but I'm also not a food snob. Most people know I go to Temper Grill on a regular basis. I like the high end stuff. I've got a palate. I like to enjoy good food, and I also like fast food too. I think we all do. And very few people don't like fast food. And let's be perfectly honest: the people that don't like fast food, they're weird, right? I think everybody knows that. There's something off about them. They may or may not be a serial killer. It's entirely possible. We know that they're not normal, okay? And not in a good way. So everybody else likes fast food. So the president's probably like, all right, everybody likes McDonald's. Well, if they don't like McDonald's, they like Wendy's. And if they don't like Wendy's, they like Burger King. And if they don't like that, they like pizza. So he's probably like, I'm just going to get a bunch of stuff that I know that everybody likes. He's like, if I have to make the food or I have to provide the food, I don't have a staff, I might as well make them something or bring them something that I know that they're going to eat. And so that's probably his perspective on this. He did point out that there was like no food left over. He said that they could all eat. I want to flash back. So we flash back, and you had Colonel Alan West. He went to the Congressional Black Caucus one day, and he was speaking to the Congressional Black Caucus. And of course, Alan West, black guy and Republican though, and he brought them KFC. And the Congressional Black Caucus was freaking out. How dare you bring fried chicken? And this is a black guy bringing fried chicken, right? Okay. And again, this comes out to who doesn't like fried chicken, right? Everybody likes watermelon. Everybody likes fried chicken, except for like the two weirdos who always contact me when I say that. All right. You're freaks. Just if you don't like fried chicken and watermelon, just accept your freak status. It's okay. We all have a right to be a little weird. Okay. And you're weird when it comes to not liking fried chicken and watermelon. So he brings fried chicken to the Congressional Black Caucus. And of course, they pitch a fit on social media. Oh, it's so racist, stereotypes and everything else. This is a black guy who brings it to him, right? And of course, he tweets after the event is over. He's like, yo, it's funny. There wasn't one piece of chicken left when I left there. For all of your blustering and all of your getting all butthurt about this, you all ate that chicken up pretty darn good, didn't you? And so I think we're kind of in one of these things. I can see if you're a player and you're from Clemson, you're going to the White House. It's like there's an expectation that you're going to get something that you don't get at home, right? So you're going to have the pageantry, and they had the Marine Band introduce them and playing for them. Nobody is focusing on the video of the Clemson players singing God Bless the USA before the president came out. Nobody's showing that video in unison, just sitting there as a team singing God Bless USA before the president came out and spoke to him. Nobody's focusing on that. They're focusing on the stupid quarter pounders, which, by the way, is an amazing sandwich. So you go and you watch these silly videos with people outraged about this, but then you look at the articles and the media is fact-checking the food. I realize this is Tuesday. I woke up today thinking it was Saturday, by the way, but I realize it's Tuesday. And some of you have not hit peak brain power for the week. The media is fact-checking the president's statements on food. When the president said, we have hamburgers piled a mile high, they literally fact-checked it. Okay? The Washington Post literally fact-checked how many hamburgers would have to be a mile high. Instead of just taking it as a figure of speech, as everybody else did. I mean, this is like saying, oh, things are hotter than hell over here. Okay, Washington Post comes in there and goes, we don't actually know what the temperature of hell is, but it's certainly going to be more than 350 degrees. Really? But you know, that's how petty things are. They're fact-checking this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I wish I were making it up, but I'm not. So I guess the real question is, how do the players feel about it? Because really, it doesn't matter what we feel, right? It only matters about the players. And, well, we've got at least one soundbite from their quarterback. So maybe we'll play that. And, you know, look, I'm happy to take your opinions about it. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595953. We are live streaming. You can go to youtube.com/Casey the host. That's CASEY. You can also go to facebook.com/Casey the host and watch the live stream there, whichever platform you prefer. If you watch the video, the comments that you see are from the YouTube side of things. We have more coming up, including your phone calls on this and much more. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, and covering for Pat Miller on News Talk 1190 WOWO, 107.5 FM.
KC Hendrickson, News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists 5-day forecast.
Freezing fog is possible this morning, so we could see a couple slick spots on the roadways. Give yourself that extra drive time. We'll have temperatures warm up to about 34 degrees today with maybe an isolated snow shower for our Michigan counties. Everyone else should stay relatively drier with cloudy skies sticking around. Now for tonight, though, we'll see the chance for some freezing drizzle again. That will lead into Wednesday morning. High of around 34 degrees, and then we start to quiet down for Wednesday evening with clouds beginning to clear out, turning partly cloudy to mostly sunny. For Thursday, we'll see mostly cloudy skies again, though. A chance for a few snow showers as a quick system passes on through. And then we'll be down to 30 degrees for Friday with mostly cloudy skies, but watching still potential storm system for Saturday. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Kennedy.
The top news stories.
You had to have all the members who voted against her, then the number of members who had to abstain to lower the threshold so she could become Speaker.
I expect that each senator and each representative will express their own views as they think best, but I'm not worried about what other people think about what I have to say.
Fire dispatcher from upstate New York. Wife is pregnant, signed a mortgage, can't get the FHA to approve it because the government is closed.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Your breaking news and weather station.
A friend request on Facebook.
My name's Dave Titus with International RV in Elkhart, Indiana. You know, one of the things that we see people that are really concerned with is whether they can actually afford an RV or not. They see these big things going down the road and, oh my gosh, I could never have one of those. And we have units that start at around $100 a month. It's all about the fun. Sitting around the campfire with your wife in the evening or with your kids, or taking that stroll on the beach, or, you know, having that private weekend that it really didn't cost you hardly any money, but you had a great time. We'll do any type of service warranty repair, whether it be from a small appliance repair, cabinetry work, plumbing, air conditioning, all the way up to full collisions, new roofs, new slide outs. There's absolutely nothing associated with an RV that we can't fix in my service department.
Because I screwed up, and sorry about that. You weren't supposed to have the commercials there. Everything got out of order on my little panel here. It's fixed.
Oh, hey, look, it's everyone's favorite commercial.
Yo, who doesn't want to sell their home for a fair price? So I posted a meme about The Bachelor yesterday. It's just like a picture of the cast. It says, oh, look, it's a show about a guy dating multiple women at once, watched by women who hate guys who date multiple women at once. So damn true, though. So true. Heck yeah, man. You know what? The funny thing is that I left every single one of the headphones at home. Every one of them. So I just got my little earbuds. What's up? Yeah. Okay. 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 Yeah, Friday should be good. Yeah, after I get done recording everything, I'll come in.
Before your show, right?
Yeah. Yeah, after morning stuff, before my show in the afternoon.
Okay.
So, yeah, so probably 11 to noon. That's when I'll be in.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Yep. Huh? That's Chris. He's a sales guy.
Don't forget Alexa.
Who could forget Alexa? She speaks to me so sweetly.
Her robot voice.
And her robot voice. I can't get her to say anything with any emotion at all. Like, if you do the Star Trek, did I tell you about the Star Trek Easter egg with Khan?
Yeah.
Because the way that she says Khan is as bad as the guy who played Anakin Skywalker going, no. It's terrible. She's like, Khan. It's like, you suck, Alexa.
So this however can like have the soundbite, have the MP3 just installed. That would be good. That's what I would have done.
Basics, man.
Install. I would have the MP3 downloaded.
Food with attitude.
She can access even if you don't even have download. She just accesses like a soundbite that they have saved.
Yeah.
So she can access it. She plays music pretty fast.
Yeah, she's pretty good as long as it's on Amazon Music. Yeah, I got to switch my default to Spotify though.
States Construction has rolled up their sleeves, never wavering in their values and a mission to build their community, and not just building for commercial and industrial, but building relationships.
So many people I got text messages about. There's no Chick-fil-A. I got so many people asked about Chick-fil-A. Now, one, I don't know if Chick-fil-A is in DC, so there's that. I don't know if Chick-fil-A is there. Two, it should have been Chick-fil-A because it will irritate liberals like nobody's business. He's trying to convert them to be Christian. He's trying to cure the gay in the football team. Uh-huh. Casey, I like my chicken and watermelon mixed together in a blender. Is that wrong? I don't know, but I feel like that should be a video that we should try.
You do that, I'll film it.
I feel like we need to do that. Chick-fil-A is in D.C. All right, so the president, you know, well, I guess he's pro-gay. If you don't like Chick-fil-A, you're pro-gay, right? That's how the old thing goes. If you like Chick-fil-A, you're anti-gay. In spite of Chick-fil-A literally being the most popular franchise among millennials. But, you know, whatever.
Yeah, because I'm very anti-Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Millennials are not anti-gay at all, and yet Chick-fil-A is their favorite food restaurant.
That's the point.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595, 95.3. That's 2595-953. I'm also covering for Pat Miller today on News Talk 1190 WOWO, 107.5 FM. Want to thank the Fort Wayne audience for joining us as well. All right, so we're talking about the BurgerGate situation with the Clemson Tigers. Football team goes to the White House. And some people said the president should have canceled until staff was back so he could make them a proper meal. Typically, you don't have a banquet like this. You just kind of have hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that. So, you know, there's an argument to be made that the players were actually fed better now than they would typically be with some of these things. But there's a lot of people looked at it and said, it's fast food's kind of tacky. You're inviting them to the White House. Nobody goes to the White House for fast food. And I can appreciate that assumption, but the real question is, you know, were the players upset about that? And we've got a soundbite from the quarterback a little bit later on that might explain kind of how people felt. Rick, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hello, Casey.
Hi there.
I'm not happy with you right now.
Well, I don't care, but you can tell me why.
I'm freaking starving, man. I got today, and all you're talking about, man, is burgers and pizza, man. Has any of the football players complained?
I have not heard any football player complain. I've heard a lot of their fans complain, but their fans probably just hate the president anyway.
Well, what about the coaching staff?
No, the head coach tweeted out a picture of quarter pounders on a silver platter. Some people read into that. I didn't read anything into that. It's, you know, there's no doubt that there is a contrast there when you're seeing very nice White House, you know, flatware and dinnerware and things like that, and you've got quarter pounders on it. Okay, there's no doubt that's a funny image. So some people are probably just joking about it. Doesn't mean they're mad about the food.
Yeah, Casey, these players are on strict diets.
Yeah,
on what they can and can't eat, what they should eat, and how much they should eat. The players are probably loving every single minute of it because this isn't something normally they get to eat on a regular basis.
Maybe. Yeah.
So, hey, man, for them to throw down some pizza and Big Macs, I don't know. That's good to me.
Look, you know what's funny is that most of us, we run around, and when we want to treat ourselves and really enjoy ourselves, what do? We go get fast food. And so the president's from his line of thinking, he's probably like, oh, that's what they want. And so he might very well be right. I suppose there could be some of them that go, yeah, you know, I thought I was going to get lobster or something like that. You know, I'm a poor kid, and this is my one chance at a really special meal, and I got McDonald's. I can see some of them probably thinking that way, but
yeah, but most of them guys playing for Clemson are going to be playing in the NFL and they get as much lobster as they want.
Well, yeah, probably. All right. Hey, Rick, appreciate it, bud. Thank you very much. All right. I think it's the Bacon Club over at McDonald's is really good, by the way. All right. What do we have here? Phil, welcome to the program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I think it's really cool.
Okay. So you don't have a problem with it?
Well, no, not at all.
But are you an Alabama fan?
No.
Okay. All right. I just had to make sure because an Alabama fan might think this is really, really great because it's a burn on Clemson. So I just want to make sure.
You know, show me a college student that doesn't eat fast food.
Joe, you're a college student. You know any? He says no. He says they all do.
Exactly. And, you know, to me, it goes right back to when Trump was on his campaign trail. He's showing that he connects with common folks. He'd rather stand around and eat a burger and talk sports than rub elbows with a bunch of rich snobs.
Well, look, I mean, Trump
$250 plate meal.
Yeah, he's always been known as the blue collar billionaire. That's like always been his nickname, right? So when Trump was always in Vegas, when I was living in Vegas, he was always there, and it was always one of those things. You would catch him at a fast food joint. You didn't catch him at these elegant, expensive restaurants. Like you catch him around town at normal places. It's just who he is. So he probably doesn't think anything of it. You know, maybe a snobbish person would think twice about this, but he does, and he's like, people like this food. Why not?
I'd hang out with President Trump and eat a burger.
Yeah, sure. Who wouldn't? Yeah. I mean, all right. Hey, appreciate it, man. Thank you much.
Thank you.
All right, take care. 574-25-95-95-3. Mikey, welcome to the program.
Hey, Casey, how you doing today?
I'm well, man. What's up?
Didn't even realize you were talking about this whole BurgerGate thing. But I did remember you saying a while ago that you've got like a military and security type background.
Uh-huh.
And was wondering, how long would it take to vet out a catering company and get their security clearance in order to get something like this catered instead of just running, you know, a couple Secret Service people and a couple of aides down to your local burger joint?
That is a great point. That's a really, I don't know how they would handle that. I don't know if they would just send the Secret Service to pick it up or if they would have a whole company come in. That's a good question. I will tell you this.
A lot of people I've seen complaining about it.
Yeah.
You know, they've been like, oh, well, you know, we understand the kitchen staff was laid off for right now, basically, but they could have gotten some swanky catering company to do it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you're bringing people to the White House.
That's a fair point.
Obviously, that's got to be vetted.
Very fair point. All right, Mikey, appreciate the call, bud. Thank you so much.
Right, later on.
All right. I will tell you that the Clemson coach did tweet out a picture. He ran into a former Clemson wide receiver who is now a Secret Service agent, and he took a picture of him in front of the White House. How cool is that? Got more coming up on 95.3 MNC and News Talk 1190, WOWO 107.5 FM.
Bureaucrats from the Department of Health and Human Services are pushing...
Whatever. We will fix that in a minute.
Would you like to talk to Casey?
The HHS plan, pulled from the Bernie Sanders healthcare playbook, would change Medicare.
Are you calling about the BurgerGate topic?
Teams in Europe, with government
all right, can I get your name, please?
Access restrictions. If
Jim?
Congress doesn't block this dangerous plan, seniors' access to new treatments
say that again.
Reduced. The search for new cures would be delayed.
Dan. All right.
American
I will try to get you on there, Dan.
Would stall. Conservatives and
Are
seniors
you talking about Wendy's fries? Wendy's fries are trash, dude. We can't be friends anymore.
Chick-fil-A fries, Arby's.
202
You don't like Arby's fries?
No, get out. You're
Curly
fired.
fries?
You're fired. You're fired.
You
You're
don't
fired.
have to talk about it. That's not your call.
Arby's fries are okay, but they're not number 1 or 2.
Well, they're not.
And Wendy's fries are still trash.
They are.
Like, I never even get fries with my Wendy's anymore. I can't do it. Like, I just give them to my kids. I'll get a Baconator meal. Sure. Kids have the fries. I don't even want them. No.
Then who has the number 1 fries?
Consistently, I just dig McDonald's, but people are in the live stream. They're pointing out very good fact that each McDonald's is different, and it's inconsistent. You have to learn your McDonald's, which ones are good. Honestly, people always wig out when I say this. Del Taco has amazing French fries, and we don't have a Del Taco here anymore, so you can't get them.
I've heard good things.
Culver's is really good fries.
Culver,
and I enjoy Culver's fries. So when I have a fry craving that's just not I want McDonald's, I go to Culver's. But Del Taco's fries were so good. And now my wife doesn't like them because she says they're too soft. So they're like Culver's fries, but they're not as hard as Culver's fries. And so I can appreciate that. But man, their salt ratio is so good.
I like a good crispy fry.
I just honestly don't like anything at Chick-fil-A. I have not had good food at Chick-fil-A.
That's fair. No,
and I'm just not a Chick-fil-A guy. I love the company. I think they do some great stuff. But
I love that our Concord would have them cater, quote unquote cater their band every once. It's like one competition we would have them cater to us. It was always like regionals or something.
Yeah.
Always like the best thing because we were getting like jelly sandwiches all week. So like all weird. So like my meals consisted of that, McDonald's, and lunch food. Like throughout the week because I was at school all the time.
Yeah.
And then so the one time I got decent enough food was Chick-fil-A.
Really?
Because it was always.
That makes sense. My high school had really good French fries. I don't know.
Yeah, but you grew up in a time where school food was actually.
That's true. That is true. And it was like the one thing they actually made at the school too is their French fries. They were really good, but they were kind of like a McDonald's style fry. But totally agree. McDonald's are inconsistent, so you have to find the right McDonald's and get the right staff. So there is that. That's 100% true. I've never been able to deal with the Wendy's fries, man. I just don't like them.
Yeah, Wendy's fries are too soft, and I like their salt, but I don't like their fries.
See, I don't even like the sea salt, man. I don't like it. If there's two companies who make fries that I would say are bad, it'd be Burger King and what's the other one we were just talking about? Wendy's. I don't enjoy their fries at all.
You like
either.
Burger King?
Nope.
Most people
Don't
like
like 'em.
Burger King's fries, but I'm very I think they're not salty enough. I think they're a
Yeah,
little
I'm
unsalted.
not a fan of either one of those
They seem very
places.
bland. They don't taste like a potato.
BK fries with a meat mountain. Let's see.
Winter weather advisory from WSBT.
Well, it's winter. There's weather.
Okay. I got new windshield wipers on my car. I put in a gallon of antifreeze, and I got a slight mirror replacement, and I got my headlights defogged. So
Nice. So you're all set to go, huh?
And, yeah, I'm pretty set.
Yeah, my family loves Chick-fil-A, and every time I go there, I'm like, I just
don't like it. And
they've
that's fair.
they've just
It's
kind of
honestly
learned.
one of my favorite fast food.
Yeah, they've learned to go without me.
Culver's is good.
I enjoy Culver's. Culver's is really expensive, but I enjoy their food when I go. I'm a big fan.
My girlfriend and I go to Culver's. After I get off work.
Used to like Steak and Shake. I don't like them anymore. I had a couple of bad meals there, and just like it soured me on it.
You know what? That's fair.
Just I don't know why.
You gotta. Their consistency is worse than McDonald's. You have to find a really good steak and shake.
Yeah.
Locally raised meats, made to order American classics like
That's where my youth group and I would go. We would go just either Steak and Shake or Hacienda. They do all the parties.
Dean's got to get a meat mountain on the way home. Meat mountains are so good. So good. No, so yeah, I had one of their, it was like the Bacon Club or something like that, but it was a grilled chicken with bacon and like some fried onions on it from McDonald's today. It was real good. It was actually very enjoyable.
I don't like the McRib.
I'm not a McRib fan either.
I don't get what the big deal is.
No.
I've had it.
Now they make it totally different now than they used to when I was a kid. When I was a kid, and people have said that to me who are like McRib super fans. They're like, it's not the same. So, but I've never really, I've never really been a big fan of it. I would agree there.
I've had it, and I was like,
yeah, we are totally fighting over French fries. I told Speed we're not friends anymore. Like it matters.
Literally the same McRib they serve at McDonald's is the same rib sandwich they serve at high school.
Yeah, I would not be
They
surprised.
serve it on white bread versus wheat bread. It doesn't taste any different.
I haven't even seen Speed comment. I think I might have accidentally hurt his feelings. I wasn't trying to.
Yeah, if he got upset over French fries, Casey,
I doubt he did, but it was funny. Like I was like, we can't be friends. I don't think I've seen him post since. The Baconator though, damn, that's a good burger.
Wendy's, that's your good burger.
Mm-hmm.
They
The
don't cut
Baconator.
corners.
No,
I
they
love
don't.
that. That's like my favorite thing about their ads. Like, we don't cut corners on our hamburger.
I watched a whole history of Dave Thomas the other day. And it was like the whole founding of Wendy's. It was only like 15 minutes. It was just one of those things. It was really interesting though. Like how he got started, because he used to work, he was a bigwig at KFC. He worked directly for the Colonel. That was his job. And then he left and started his own joint.
Burgers.
He stole the square burgers from another place. There was another place that did square burgers. And yeah, so very, very interesting story behind all of that because he was just such a cool dude. Duck fat fries from Temper Grill. The duck fat fried potatoes are so good. So good. Can't believe I waited over a year to get them. We do need common sense French fry control. For the kids, Alex. For the kids.
Bring back the fryers.
Yeah.
Bring back the fryers.
Oh, man. So funny.
Yeah, there it is. Brexit deal fails 432 to 202.
They're just voting on crap that was already voted on, but okay.
I had my own designated space to smoke. I think about it, it really was like I was punishing.
Maybe you should just not smoke.
A friend of mine said, why wouldn't you just try
Be a man. Vape.
And so I went out and I bought one.
I used to work for Wendy's back in 1999. The fries were much better than they are now. Well, Wendy's only changed their fries over, what, like 3 or 4 years ago, right? Or has it been longer? Yeah, yeah.
I think it might have been 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, it feels like it hasn't been that long. I'm not.
Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen's fries are...
They're not bad. They're not bad.
Middle of the road.
You know, Dairy Queen, when I was in high school, they were the only fast food restaurant that actually had a spicy chicken sandwich. Because, you know, everybody had a spicy chicken sandwich, but it was chicken with black pepper on it. No, that thing nuked your mouth. It was spicy. And they don't have it anymore. They have like a toned down version of it. But one of the reasons I liked them, they were on campus for my high school. So we had an Italian pizza place, we had Dairy Queen, and one other place. So if you didn't want to eat in the cafeteria, you walked to the end of your the parking lot, and on the corner of the parking lot, you had this little like shopping center, which used to only have the restaurants, and now has expanded to include like dry cleaners and everything else. It's very, very interesting. So, yeah, but they had this chicken sandwich that was actually spicy. They didn't even care. Like, we don't care about the broader population's taste buds. Nope. You want spicy? You're going to order this. And it was actually spicy. It's good stuff. All right. Trans fat. So we're talking about trans friendly. Oh, man. You guys are going to give me trouble. Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. All right. Do want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle, Indiana. And again, if you mention me, you get half off your range time. You can shoot rifle and pistol indoors, but you get half off just because you're a listener of this show. I'm also covering for Pat Miller on News Talk 1190 WOWO 107.5 FM today. I want to thank them for tuning in. A couple of text messages before we get back to the last remaining phone calls. Washington Post is dumber than a box of rocks. That is true. I like my chicken and watermelon mixed together in a blender. Is that wrong? We had a debate about that, and we're not sure, so we figured we'd probably do a taste test. Let's see. Should have had Chick-fil-A to avoid controversy, somebody said. I saw a lot of posts about Chick-fil-A, and had President Trump included Chick-fil-A in the Clemson football meal, I'm telling you right now, people would have absolutely lost their minds. He should have been forward-thinking enough to include Chick-fil-A. I wasn't sure if they were in D.C., and somebody told me they are, in fact, in D.C. Casey, I get a McDouble every week, and depending on how it was made, it can be a greasy lump of, quote, food, or it can be one of the best sandwiches ever. Yeah. You know, a lot of people were looking at the pictures of the food that Clemson got at the White House. They were commenting that the burgers were probably going to be cold, and that you were serving these players cold food. And that was the whole thing. I want to play you just this little soundbite, okay, and then we'll answer some phone calls. Now, this is the Clemson quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, who, by the way, is massive. I didn't realize how huge he was. He towers over the president. The president's a tall dude. He's like 6'4", 6'5", or something. And this guy just stares down at him like he's a little child. So anyway, so this is Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback for Clemson. He's walking out of the White House. TMZ is there. They ask him some questions. Here's what he had to say.
Hey, Trevor, how was the food inside? It was awesome. We had McDonald's and everything. It was good.
All right. So, Trevor, how was the food inside? Oh, it was awesome. We had McDonald's and everything. It was good. And then he goes on, signs autographs for fans and everything. So, okay, the quarterback of the team is not butthurt about this, so he doesn't seem upset. So if nothing else, we've got at least one player who did not have an issue with the food. And like I said, they're ignoring everything else that happened. The players got introduced with the Marine Band. They got all of these really cool moments where they got to meet a bunch of people. I'd also like to point out that the president's staff and everybody's eating the same fast food. Okay, so it's not like they had different food than everybody else. They were all eating the same food. And there were some really awesome moments. I said the whole team was singing God Bless the USA before the president came out and started addressing the team. And just some really awesome stuff that's just being completely ignored by everybody who's talking about this whole BurgerGate thing. All right, so we got one or two more phone calls on this, and then we'll move on. Dan, welcome to the program.
Hi, Casey.
What's up?
I'm calling from your Pat Miller audience.
Okay.
Okay, have you ever been invited to the White House?
Nope.
I never have. I've never been there.
Yeah, me either.
So an 18 to 22-year-old invited to the White House?
Yeah.
Got to be a high emotional thing.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Just to get in and go through all the security and everything, and they get inside the White House, and you and I don't.
Yeah. They still get to say they were there, right?
Right. If they were to have a formal meal, how many of these 18 to 22-year-olds would be able to sit down, black tie event type thing, and eat a meal that's and show restraint or
Well, here's the thing too, because like hors d'oeuvres. Yeah, hors d'oeuvres and stuff are usually served at this stuff, right? So you're handing a 300-pound football player something, tiny little speck of something on a toothpick. That may not exactly be conducive to this.
Yeah,
so.
they're going to have spaghetti hanging out of their mouth and all over. They have to have some kind of elegance doing it.
Sure. Yeah, I hear you, man. But so far they seem to have had a good time.
And there's like 65 people.
Yeah.
Counting the staff.
Well, and let's not forget, the president and everybody else ate the same food. And I have not seen an article that said the president got 2 quarter pounders while everybody else got 1. So I have not seen that one yet. I keep waiting for it.
Quarter pounder and a Big Mac.
Yeah. All right, man. I got to roll. Appreciate the call. All right. I could so see the Washington Post doing that story. Oh, the president got a double quarter pounder while everybody else got a single quarter pounder. It's because of the old ice cream thing. For producer Joe, if you don't remember, the president was attacked because he had 2 scoops of ice cream and everybody else got 1. But they actually fact-checked the food. That's the thing. They actually fact-checked the food. A couple of writers who were there said, Paris Denard, he's a member of the president's commission on White House Fellows. He said it was a huge hit. Everybody had a really good time. Everybody was laughing and enjoying themselves and that sort of thing. So, like I said, the whole experience was very positive. And then you might have some people wish they didn't have fast food, but at the end of the day, everybody was pretty happy with it. Everybody seemed to be really happy. Like I said, you just heard from the quarterback. He came out. TMZ asked him the first thing, how was the food inside? Because they heard. And he says, oh, it was awesome. We had McDonald's and everything was great. And then he goes on and deals with the fans. So, and by the way, kudos for them, for, the entire team going, showing up, and just, whether they agree with the president on his politics or not, they didn't dishonor the sport. They didn't dishonor their team or their university by not going. They actually attended the event when they were invited. And it's nice to see that, because so many of them tried to make political statements by just not going and that sort of thing. Clemson showed real class here. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. That's 2595-953. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 95.3 MNC is live on all of your listening devices, on your radio, 95.3 MNC. You can also go to your computer, 953mnc.com, and on your smartphone when you download the free 95.3 MNC app. But now, ladies and gentlemen, your very own personal wiretap, Alexa. We are on Alexa. All you have to do is tell Alexa to, quote, enable the 95.3 MNC skill, and your top news, traffic, and weather. And, of course, the #1 talk show lineup in Michiana, frankly, anywhere, is right there at your fingertips anytime you want. 95.3 MNC, now on Amazon Alexa. More coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
KC Hendrickson.
6133. 33.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecast.
3.
Freezing fog is possible this morning, so we could see a couple slick spots on the roadways. Give yourself that extra drive time.
All right, just letting you know.
Warm up to about 34 degrees today with maybe an isolated snow shower for our Michigan counties. Everyone else should stay relatively drier with cloudy.
God, what are people complaining about now?
Oh, someone has a personal message from
We'll
Mark.
lead into Wednesday morning. High around 34 degrees. Then we start to quiet down for Wednesday.
Okay, cool. Call the main office.
That's terrible.
Partly cloudy to mostly sunny. For Thursday,
Again, planes report operator, just not click on this sign.
Right. Will MNC be adding Shapiro? No.
Oh, was that to tell him, hey, we did our thing, leave us alone?
Yeah.
ABC 57, First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center.
No, won't be adding Shapiro.
Are you overpaying Uncle Sam? Will you pay more taxes than necessary when you retire? Surveys show that most American adults get an F in understanding income tax basics.
Get an F in it, Casey.
Yeah, so what else is new?
This is Casey Weeds.
That's what the women want.
When I got my start as
No, wait, they want D's, not F's. My apologies. Ladies, I'm only thinking of you.
Okay, so we're moving on.
Yes.
and selling another financial product added little value to my client's bottom line.
Only reason I did it is it's been a heavy week already, and I thought it would be fun to talk about hamburgers.
The one you can control. Call Howard Bailey today and see how the new tax laws can benefit your bottom line. These tax planning opportunities are only expected to last for a limited time, so call today at 866-482-9559. Start planning before it's too late. 866-482-9559. 866-482-9559.
Advisory services may be offered through
I keep waiting for the angry emails to come in about fried chicken and stuff. Keep waiting for it. You called me weird. How dare you?
Catering is the namesake of a dream that started 20 years ago in Michiana. Day after day, we strive to make Michiana feel at home in our family's cafe.
I'll pass on the questions, ma'am, and the messages.
Let me ask you a question. How many catering
No
companies
problem.
are willing to replicate your family recipes? We do, and we love to.
Also a fair point. Casey, President Obama can drink beer at the White House with guests, but they're all upset because President Trump has fast food there. Yeah. The White House had a brewery under Obama, too. It's like one of the two really good things that he did.
Really glad she didn't get on when we moved on because she not only asked about a comment and then she had a question that didn't really.
Okay.
Check out our full catering menu at
Turn her away without
Allie'sCafe.com.
feeling.
Or stop in for breakfast or lunch, Tuesday through Saturday, to experience what makes us so proud to be voted a Michiana favorite.
I haven't heard anything negative or positive about what the players thought about Big Macs at the White House, but I have a feeling most, if not all, had a blast. Like I said, when you look at all of the video footage of what actually happened instead of just focusing on the hamburger thing, everybody looks like they're having a really good time. So, nobody appeared to be sitting there stewing over the lunch they got. But, hey, as long as the media has got some kind of a narrative out there to attack somebody over.
Hello?
And sound amazing, especially me. And that's
No.
not easy to do. Look, you need
This
to
is
call
not
Mojo
Mark.
Events for your next corporate event. They are going to take the stress of handling all the technical aspects of it away so you can focus on what's most important, putting on a great show. So for your next concert, festival, presentation, conference, webinar, church activity, even your next ribbon cutting, contact Mojo.
I don't
Events to take
have
your
anywhere to
event the
contact
next
Mark Miguel,
level.
ma'am.
Go to eventswithmojo.com. That's eventswithmojo.com.
Who is this about that?
Add some mojo to
Who
your
passed away?
event with Mojo Events.
The top local stories, updated all the time
Okay.
on 953mnc.com. From News
I
Talk
mean,
95.3
is there a name that I can give him that he can call?
Is there a name that he could call, ma'am, so that we can try to pass along a message to him? Is there a name that we can get him to call so that we could pass along the message to him so he can call you?
Yeah, just get a message. I'll get it to Mark.
All right.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That's 2595-953. Also covering for Pat Miller today on News Talk 1190 WOWO 107.5 FM. Phone number to join us, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 25-95-953. You can also send me a text message at 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. All right. I want to thank R&B Car Company. Locations in South Bend and Warsaw. R&B Car Company are your used car experts. Let's see, what do we have here? All right, so let's pivot over to the border, shall we? An illegal alien has been arrested for an alleged assault on an 11-year-old. And it just so happens that this particular illegal alien has been deported numerous times and keeps coming back in. Hernandez is presently held in Montgomery County Jail on account of his immigration status, as well as his alleged sexual assault of a minor, according to the sheriff's office. The victim is an 11-year-old. Was 11 when the abuse started, so it's been ongoing. On Thursday, the sheriff's office Special Victims Unit executed a search warrant in Conroe, Texas, for the aggravated sexual assault of a child. Investigators reported that Hernandez was not home at the time that they searched his residence. According to investigators, he was attempting to flee the United States and return to Mexico. Oh, so you want to stay in the United States while you commit crimes, and then you want to go back to Mexico when you get caught. I see how it is. The Courier from Montgomery County reported that Hernandez had previously been deported from the U.S., quote, on multiple occasions. Due to his history of illegal immigration, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement hold has been requested, which would turn him over to federal custody once he is released from his jail sentence. So, but hey, you know, let's go ahead and say that this is a fake or manufactured crisis. Let's do that, right? And the Democrats have refused to sit down with the president again on this whole immigration thing. So they have decided that they are not going to sit down and have a conversation about the border wall. So, you know, you have to ask yourself a couple of things here. And said throw the partisan tribalist nonsense, throw it aside, okay? Throw what your feelings of the wall are aside. Throw what your feelings of immigration are aside. Let's just look at the basics here. The president campaigned on building a wall and securing the border, okay? That's what he campaigned on. And by the way, there's a lot more in this proposal, which includes port security, security at the northern border as well, and some other measures, all right, including not just wall and fence, but technological advancements and using technology to patrol the border in areas where a wall or fence is not conducive. So this is all a part of it. Now, the media is trying to make it seem like he just wants to build a giant wall across the entire southern border. He's never advocated that, all right, never. And if you look at the proposal, it's very clear all of the things that he wants to do. Now, what's interesting about this is that he and Democrats agree on port security. It's the other stuff that there is great disagreement on. So when the president made an offer to the Democrats when he first became president, okay, not recently, but when he first became president, he said, look, I will grant you, I'll grant Dreamers citizenship if you just build a wall. And the Democrats said no. Now, when I was originally covering this, one of the things that I did is I kind of spoke to those of you out there who might be dreamers and said, okay, if your goal in life is to become a U.S. citizen and be able to stay here forever, legally, and not have to hide or worry about being deported at some point in time, but your goal is to stay here, and you've got the president of the United States saying, I will let you. All they have to do is beef up border security so we don't have to have this situation again, because this is the second time we've now had to deal with this since the 1980s. So they say no. Democrats go, nope, we're not interested in any of the Dreamers getting citizenship because we're not going to build your wall. Now, if you're a Dreamer, how does that sound to you? If your whole goal is to just be able to stay here in the United States and remain legal, that's it. And the Democrats say, nope, we don't want that deal. Well, he's made that deal several times. He has offered citizenship and legal status for Dreamers several times, okay? And Democrats have always said no. So then the president keeps acquiescing, and overall, he's not given what he's wanted. He's got 3 senators in the Republican side of things that kind of screwed that up for him, and now he's lost the House, even though he gained in the Senate. And so now he's not going to be able to get all of the stuff that he wants. So he comes in, he's like, look, $5.7 billion, let's build this 200-mile stretch here. And let's fix this portion because we've got serious issues on this stretch of border that I want to build this fence for. Democrats say no. And then of course, the government shuts down because they refuse to negotiate on this. The president goes back in and says, I will reopen the government today if you can give me the wall within 30 days. And Pelosi says no. He gets up, he walks out, says, all right, wasting my time. During the shutdown, president stayed over the holidays. He stayed in Washington, D.C. Democrats left recently here. He stayed in D.C. Democrats went to Puerto Rico with lobbyists, hung out in Puerto Rico, got to see Hamilton. That was nice. They got to go see Hamilton with the $300 tickets over Hamilton, I think. So they got to see all that. He's sitting there just like, okay, I'm waiting. And now he goes to them again and says, hey, let's have another meeting and let's talk about this. And all of the Democrats, 100% of them said no. So again, if you're a government employee, you have one party here. Remember, a shutdown there's two parties that cause it. But right now, we have one of the parties who has consistently tried to make concessions and offer deals, and the other side has not offered anything. Nothing of substance anyway, saying that, oh, yeah, we'll do like 30 miles or whatever. That's silly. But if you have one side's consistently trying to negotiate and the other side is leaving town on a regular basis, it certainly doesn't look like that side's working very hard to stop this thing, does it? Now, we did get a vote on back pay, which we will talk about in the next segment when we come back, because they did pass something to go ahead and do that. But Democratic lawmakers rebuffed the White House efforts to court moderate Democrats for a proposed lunch aimed at ending a partial government shutdown. And again, all of the Democrats said, no, we will not attend. Okay. So if he offered both Republicans and Democrats an opportunity to sit down over lunch and discuss this thing, and no Democrats are going to attend, who's really not interested in ending the shutdown? You have to ask yourself basic questions here. Because right now it looks exactly like the Democrats are the ones unwilling to move, because really that's how it's been for over 2 years. We got a lot more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, also covering for Pat Miller on News Talk 1190 WOWO, 107.5 FM.
I've been selling new cars at Lock Monday Motors for over 30 years. And I'm Greg Slagle. I've been selling pre-owned vehicles at Lock Monday Motors for 16 years. Greg and I have been working together a long time, and every year there was a lot of excitement at tax time. Yeah, that's right. We have so many vehicles, we're places to park. We have a tremendous offering of new.
Am I really that close to 6? I didn't even know I had that many subs. Holy crap.
How many do you have?
I'm almost at 1,600. Which is still a small, tiny little YouTube channel, but I didn't even realize I was that close.
I think part of the reason you're not getting as many likes as you are views is because a lot of people don't have YouTube.
Yeah.
Don't have Google accounts.
Yeah. A lot of people watch, but they don't sign in. So, but they need to, because it irritates Google. Just try, people. Try. Please.
I'm Dave Anderson. And I'm Greg Slagle. Visit Lock Monday Motors in Elkhart, a tradition of caring since 1954.
Michiana's news channel, which is Casey. All right, are you calling about the Goldberg situation at all?
On Wall Street, I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. U.S. stock index is ending the day in the green.
I just got a text that said, all caps, hard to call from Fort Wayne if you give us no area code or 800 number.
The Dow up 152 points. The S&P closing 28 higher. And ending the day with a 118-point gain. President Trump's latest victory in the Justice Department undergoing hours of pressure.
All right. Yeah, I think that works. Can I get your name, please?
William Barr, President Trump's nominee for Attorney General, told senators on the Judiciary.
All right, I'll do my best, Michelle.
Special Counsel Robert Mueller without.
Talking about Lafayette illegal, who got charged with double murder.
We're moving on to this other thing now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, end of the hour. We're going to something else.
Okay,
I was just giving an update on that stuff.
Okay.
I'm not getting into.
Okay. Excuse me, Michelle. We're moving on from that topic now, unfortunately, so you can call in on Friday at 5 o'clock if you would like to talk about it during open line. No problem.
So they had to log in, huh? Interesting. Well, get your Google accounts and sign in, yo.
Get a free email. You got a Gmail, you got to use.
That's true. You get a free email for all your spam, and you will get plenty of it.
if you have a Gmail, you have a YouTube account.
Right. It's
People
true.
got Gmails.
Yep. Same login, folks. Your Google account is the same across all platforms. What's up, Anthony? What's up, Jeff? We got Mark on the Facebook. It's been a while since I've had somebody tell me that I wasn't giving the area code for the phone number, but it's probably because I say it weird. The phone number is said weird, specifically 25 95 953. Yeah, it's just how they told me to say it when I first got here. Because like we like the 953 at the end. I'm like, okay, cool. Took me a while to get it. Mark still can't say it that way. He has to say like a normal phone number. Yeah, I can't say it like a normal phone number.
Not far from Memorial. She sustained a potentially life-threatening wound to her upper chest. Police say 12 shots were fired in all, and she was hit by one of them. A 19-year-old woman also suffered an ankle injury, but it was not a gunshot wound. Officials have not announced any other information about the victim or any possible suspects.
Mark's been dying to get me on air. Did you see that reporter lady this morning on Facebook that was at Nancy Pelosi's house with 6 immigrant Mexican people? They were starting to camp out on her lawn. I did not see this. Hold on a second. How did I miss this? Wait a minute. All right. So immigrants. Pelosi lawn. When?
Near the end. The Second Amendment.
Oh, that's normal. Yeah, that's my segment sponsor, people.
Okay.
Keep looking for, probably be a core horn in there, though. Keep looking for that. So it was Laura Loomer who did it. So Laura Loomer set up an illegal immigrant sanctuary on Nancy Pelosi's lawn. I got it. That's funny. I'm not a big fan of Laura Loomer, but that's funny.
Chance will linger into tomorrow morning, but the clouds will clear out for the second half of Wednesday with a high of 34 degrees again. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Kennedy.
There you go. That's good squish right there.
Breaking news can happen anytime. Stay connected with 95.3 MNC breaking news text alerts. Complete details on how to get them at 953mnc.com. Your breaking news and weather station.
News powered by Polymax of 4 Lakes. Tuesday is Fish Day. $6 $2 domestics now through the end of the year. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. I missed that she did it this morning, but it's really funny. Her last 2 stunts have been really good. Her one at the newspaper and then that one. That's yep, good for her.
Just a short drive from anywhere in Michiana. We're located between the 9th and 10th holes of 4 Lakes Golf Course on Highway 12 in Edwardsburg, and we are open to the public. Check out our daily specials today. Visit Tuesdays through Saturdays to taste what it means to make American food great again.
Maybe it's all the times he stopped by. Maybe it's all the times you piled in the little ones, just to go sledding. Maybe it's
Come on.
little girl.
Yeah, so I paid something off, and it dropped off of one of my credit reports, but not the other 2.
For the first time. No matter where you go or what you drive.
It was a small loan I didn't know I had from back in the day.
From R&B Car Company.
Like 5 years ago, some crap like just popped up on my credit when we were buying the car. They're like, "Hey, do you have a loan out with these people?" I'm like, called them up, paid it off. Oops.
It's called Rate Shield, and here's how it works. With Rate Shield,
Don't
you
do it.
lock your interest rate while you shop for a new home. So if rates go up, you don't have to worry. And here's the
But still, only dropped off of one credit report, not the other 2. Getcher's credit report is 60 points higher. Credit reports suck. Whole thing should be redone. The whole system.
For mortgage servicing. Rate Shield, Another way we can save
That
you
doesn't
money
check
on
your
your
credit
mortgage.
report
Call us today at
lower your
800
score,
Quicken or go to Rocket
No, not checking your report. Not anymore. But if you go through a business who does a credit inquiry on you, yes, 2 points every inquiry.
Sun Services is your local independent American
But if you check it yourself, no.
Here's owner Jamie Teray on why they
If you're applying for a loan, oh.
Statistically has less repairs and is higher.
So like when we got the car, they sent it out to 10.
For the other brands of equipment,
20-point
the
day.
American standard. So in the long run, it's a cost saving to the homeowner.
A couple months it'll come right back up, but it's like in the meantime, you got to deal with the 20-point day.
574-271-5010. Your trusted local independent.
Did you all see that Milo is seeking asylum in the U.S. because he doesn't feel safe in, what did he call it, Londonistan or something? as a gay conservative. Oh man, come on. So, crap, I forgot to get that information. You got a message from Mark. Is it her daughter who passed?
Yeah. I didn't get her first name. I couldn't understand her. But
Cabot passed away?
Or her daughter.
Mid-States Construction.
She was pretty upset. She was kind of yelling.
Yep.
She was like, it's not my fault.
Yeah, he's not here. We can't give out his number. I don't know who she is. So I'll get him a message and get him that number.
Right. Thank you.
Yep. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. Once again, area code, a couple of people in Fort Wayne missed the area code. It is 574. You can also send me a text message at 45364. Please put MNC or WOWO at the beginning of that message. A little bit later on today, I have the politically correct telling of Little Red Riding Hood. Going to do that. Also covered Pat Miller on News Talk 1190 WOWO 107.5 FM. Want to thank the Fort Wayne listening audience for joining us today. Yeah, so the Little Red Riding Hood thing is pretty darn good. Okay, so now we have a vote on the back pay from everybody with the shutdown / slowdown, because it's really not a shutdown. Obviously, the government, for the most part, working pretty darn well. Even the president is able to feed his people without having his White House staff, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that's good stuff. All right. Congress has approved back pay for workers affected by the shutdown. However, there's a catch. And now I anticipate that this will get resolved when everything, ends up opening back up again. But for now, there is a catch. So the vote was approved on Friday, 411-7. Okay, so only 7 people voted against it, all Republican, by the way. So the House and Senate passed legislation which would provide back pay to federal government workers who were affected by the partial government shutdown. So the House approved the legislation on Friday, 411-7, after it was passed by the Senate on Thursday. The legislation will now need to be signed by President Trump for final approval. However, the legislation is specifically for workers who are working with unpaid status during the partial shutdown. Those would be like food inspectors. Remember, the FDA had to come out and kind of tell everybody, we're still inspecting food. Don't worry about it. Everybody's showing up to work. No, they're not getting paid, but they're here. They will get their back pay. All right. This will not do anything for those who have been furloughed. Now, people who are furloughed aren't actually going into work. They're at home. All right. Those who work during the shutdown have not been paid will receive back pay when the government is funded, according to the Washington Post. Now, in the past, furloughed employees who did not work will also have paid for the days that they missed due to the shutdown. I would assume that this would happen when everything gets up and running. But for right now, this is what they have. Those who have been working will get their back pay. Those who have not been working right now, not going to. But again, I would expect Congress to address that in the future. I had an opportunity to talk to President Trump a few moments ago, wanted to indicate to our colleagues that he will sign the bill and that we have been discussing here to guarantee the government workers who have been displaced as a result of the shutdown will ultimately be compensated. So I want to ease their anxiety about that particular possibility. That is Senate Majority Leader Mitch Turtleface McConnell. So that's what he said on the floor of the Senate. All right, so that's what we have. Now, if you look at the actual bill, this is the Government Employee Fair Treatment Act of 2019, Senate Bill 24, and you got 7 noes. Now, the noes are all Republican. Paul Gosar from Arizona, Andy Biggs from Arizona, Ted Yoho from Florida, Thomas Massey from Kentucky, Justin Amash from Michigan, and Chip Roy from Texas, as well as Glenn Grothman from Wisconsin. No surprise that Representative Amash from Michigan, up in near these necks of the woods, he's a little bit out of our area, but no surprise that he voted against it. Thomas Massey also probably no surprise, but everybody else voted in favor, Republican and Democrat. Now, if it's Representative Amash who's voting against it, and with Massey voting, it's going to be a fiscal issue. It's about dollars and cents, not necessarily hating people, but still, that's where we're at. So the people who've been furloughed right now don't have a path to get their money. You can get unemployment. We did have somebody who's a government worker contact us and say, yep, you can absolutely go on unemployment with these types of things. However, the process of getting unemployment usually is longer than the shutdown is. And nobody anticipated that it was going to take this long. So again, we're in the longest shutdown in history. The previous one was only 21 days. So now we're at that point where some people who probably didn't apply for unemployment benefits are probably going to consider it at this point now, whereas they didn't apply for them before because, well, it's never been shut down for this long before. Too much political pressure. Of course, Trump doesn't care about that. Doesn't care about the political pressure. He campaigned on something and wants to get something done, and that's what he's doing. So that's where we're at. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. I do have a list of 8 things that Democrats did vote to fund that cost more than the wall. Rural Utility Service, which is $8.2 billion a year, which was originally intended to bring electricity to rural communities, which, of course, has been achieved. So now the government should just stop funding that, right? Nope, of course not. Now they're going to try and get them broadband. But there's less than 20,000 people that are being affected by this thing, and there's no indication that the program actually benefits them. Sugar subsidies. Now, technically, the sugar subsidies cost taxpayers $1.2 billion a year, but there is a note that 5-year savings amount to $6 billion, more than Trump's border security. Then you have the Community Development Grant, which amounts to $3 billion a year. 5-year savings would then total $15 billion. You got the UN, the United Nations, that's $10 billion, which is, of course, 57% increase. Then you have the unused federal real estate. Taxpayers spend $1.7 billion annually maintaining unused federal buildings in fiscal year 2016. This actually came up and passed the mic last Friday. Federal agencies owned 3,120 buildings that were vacant, unutilized, and another 7,859 that were partially emptied or underutilized, according to the Congressional Research Service. Foreign aid, which is $50 billion a year. Let's not forget the Democrats proposed spending $12 billion just in their last funding effort, rather than spend the $5.7 billion to go ahead and go for the wall. And then, of course, you got $137 billion a year towards payment errors, which is waste, fraud, and abuse. To the phone lines we go. Brenda, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Yes, I guess you might think I'm an unsympathetic person, but for some reason I can't get too worked up about the furloughed workers. What's at stake is really, really important. And for myself, I have been laid off. Mm-hmm. And I had to go out and look for a job, and sometimes it was very difficult to find one. I was not in the position where all my back pay was given to me when I went back to work if I was laid off. Mm-hmm. So for some reason, I can't really be too sympathetic for them folks. And I know they're in a bad situation, but their last paycheck was last Friday. They've only lived, 4 days without pay? So, I mean, I just can't get too sympathetic for him.
Well, I think that, you know, look, there's a lot of people that are looking at this who are a little sympathetic. Some are not. But at the end of the day, I think they understand that the greater cause here is extremely important. Like I said, we just talked about an 11-year-old who's been sexually assaulted for a long time by an illegal immigrant who's been deported several times. Well, how do you think they got into the country?
Right. And so, I mean, what is happening is much more important. I mean, in the long run, right now, it's a bad situation for them.
Sure.
But when you consider what's happening, and then they're talking about the people at the state parks, but they don't understand a lot of those workers that have been laid off are working for the businesses and getting paid. Plus, they're going to get
a lot. Yeah, a lot of like a Yellowstone. We talked about with Yellowstone. Yep. Hey, Brenda, I got to roll a little bit late.
All right.
But
Thank you for taking my call.
You bet.
It.
All right. You take care. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
KC Hendrickson, News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news.
Your home comfort experts.
Freezing fog is possible this morning, so we could see a couple slick spots on the roadways.
All right.
Maybe an isolated snow shower for our Michigan counties. Everyone else should stay relatively drier with cloudy skies sticking around.
Okay, I gotta send somebody a message here real quick, so hold on.
That will lead into Wednesday morning. High of around 34 degrees, and then we start to quiet down for Wednesday evening with clouds beginning to clear out, turning partly cloudy to mostly sunny. For Thursday, we'll see mostly cloudy skies again, though. A chance for a few snow showers as a quick system passes on through. And then we'll be down to 30 degrees for Friday with mostly cloudy skies, but watching still potential storm system for Saturday. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Selma Kennedy.
95.3 MNC's weather text alerts are new and improved, customized, and faster than ever. To stay connected, text weather to 45364. Do it right now. Pick the counties you care about and get word of severe weather the very moment the alert is issued. Minutes matter.
All right, so
Made our weather text alert service better than ever. Again, text weather to 45364 right now.
You think her name is what?
Complete privacy policy and terms and conditions available at
95.3mnc.com. She's legally blind.
Free.
Okay.
Free means no
Feel for her.
And free is the deal at Home Comfort Expert. Call 255-4600 for Home Comfort Expert about getting a free furnace with the purchase of an AC unit. At the same time you'll be keeping your home cool this summer, you'll be keeping it warm right now, this winter. Call Home Comfort Experts today to get your free furnace. And the technicians...
So Mark knows her daughter.
Will make you warm and toasty right now with a free furnace. And at the same time, they'll install the AC unit that'll make this summer the most comfortable and energy efficient ever. Come to think of it, that free furnace will be so efficient compared to your old one, you could be making money on it. Call Home Comfort Experts at 255-4600 and get your free furnace.
Spring beers, huh? Spring beer. What are the best spring beers?
Discover the active and vibrant assisted living community.
Spring, I like Hefeweizens. You could always go with the Shandy in the spring as well. Although Shandies are a little bit better in summertime when it's really, really hot. I don't know. I like porters because it's not super winter weathery, but you're kind of cool. You know, porters are good. I mean, KBS is a year-round beer. That's just an amazing beer.
We have 24-hour staff for any of your personal needs, and we accept multiple funding.
I always dig a good porter or maybe an oatmeal stout, something like that. Can do that. Those are good. Medium grade, darker beers.
574-303-4897. You can call, text, and we also have Facebook page, Silver Birch of Mishawaka.
As I was out driving this week, I couldn't help but notice all the bumpy roads and potholes, which make our driving hazardous and unpredictable.
You know who you need to contact?
These bumpy roads also
Domino's.
get worse the more that we
They'll fix them roads.
Guess what?
Yeah, Domino's. Fix them roads.
You can continue to choose
More than one way to use a bunch of money that you're not going to spend.
Well, you buy, you know, community grace. You probably get some tax abatement issues.
scholarships.
Problems
The other companies do scholarships.
You're tired of having the same
do matching grants
over and over again. Call us at Warren Chiropractic in Osceola.
Because it's just a lot of money you don't need.
State-of-the-art facility, we offer a complete
Most CEOs are
including massage therapy,
with this.
physical therapy,
All around salary.
and the
Throw it
best
to the
in
people.
chiropractic care.
Put it back into the
Care to get
economy.
Call us at
Economy.
Warren Chiropractic,
I can speak.
679-0100.
I know the English.
For over 30 years, we've been helping patients.
It's a nice lesson in communist policy. Your pay can be shut off just like that. Don't work for government. They can't save you. There's nothing wrong. I don't have an issue with people working for the government.
You work for the government.
Most people, when they refer to government stuff, they're referring to non-necessary functions of government. So, like, when you have people going, "Oh, I'm against taxes, but look at the roads and everything else," yeah, but nobody is saying that the road shouldn't be taxed to be funded. We don't want to fund RoboSquirrel. That's stupid. Oh, Joe doesn't know about RoboSquirrel yet. RoboSquirrel is a robotic squirrel that you funded as a taxpayer that was created to fight snakes. It's a real program. Should I tell them about the underwater shrimp treadmills? Your taxpayer dollars, Joe, funded underwater research for treadmills. They're under the water, little shrimp. Just run on. Or what about the one about if you get birds high on heroin and alcohol, will they be more amorous to one another? Amorous. Will they have more sex? Will they bippity-boppity-boo when you get them all doped up? You paid for that, man. You paid for that.
Within the past 6 months, I paid for it.
Uh-huh.
If not, I didn't.
Still money taken out of your hands through your parents. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Also covering for Pat Miller today on News Talk 1190 WOWO 107.5 FM. Oh, yeah, that's another one. Live stream came through. We're just talking about wasteful government spending and the live stream here. Yeah, I had just rattled off a couple of them for the new producer, Joe, who is a freshman college student. And the one about the gender identity of icebergs was another good one. Yes, that's real. You paid for that. Yeah. It's always nice educating the youth and how their money's been wasted. 574-25-95-95-3. That's 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. And please put MNC at the beginning of that message. A federal judge has ruled that those Christian bakers in the People's Republic of Colorado can, in fact, sue Colorado for religious persecution. Good, because they should be able to sue for religious persecution. So last week, federal judge ruled that Jack Phillips, the owner of Masterpiece Cake Shop in Colorado, People's Republic of, could proceed to sue the state for anti-religious bias. Phillips previously fought a case all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court after the Colorado Civil Rights Commission cited him for refusing to bake a cake for a same-sex wedding. Again, one of the funniest things about that story is same-sex weddings were illegal in the state of Colorado at the time, yet Colorado said that he violated their civil rights. So what was Colorado doing? They never made that argument. And that's the argument that I kept telling everybody they should make in court. They should walk right in there and go, you can't say that the state of Colorado can't say that I'm violating the civil rights of this couple because the state of Colorado also denies them service. And if it's illegal for them to get married in the state of Colorado, I shouldn't be required to make a cake for something that the state says is illegal, because then the state would be forcing me to participate in an illegal activity, right? They never made that case. It's not, they made it all on religion, which they lost, and then the appeals, they won. So eventually they were able to win this thing. And I'm glad that they did, because nobody should be forced to serve anybody. Now, the Supreme Court found that the commission discriminated against Phillips for his religious views, which they did. The same day that the U.S. Supreme Court agreed to take Phillips's appeal, Denver attorney Autumn Scardina requested Phillips to bake a cake that celebrated gender transition with a blue outside and a pink inside, because it was an obvious ambush of this whole thing. They knew how the case was going to go. We had the early feelings from the court, and so people immediately started trying to ambush the cake maker again. Western Journal reported that after Phillips refused, the Colorado Civil Rights Commission cited him again, not learning their lesson. Despite Phillips winning his case in the Supreme Court, the state still decided to prosecute him, causing him to file a lawsuit. So in a statement, the Alliance Defending Freedom, which is defending Phillips, said that Colorado is treating Phillips differently than other cake artists who decline custom projects if they disagree with the message. Also true. We have several people actually picking up the phone or walking into these other cake shops and asking them to make these custom cakes where those cake shops were refusing to make those cakes. None of those people, some of which were based on religion, none of those people have actually been prosecuted or cited or fined by the state of Colorado. Just this guy. While the state allows other cake artists to decline requests to create custom cakes that express messages they deem objectionable and would not express for anyone, Colorado treats Phillips differently, the ADF said. This disparate treatment reveals that the state officials' ongoing hostility towards Phillips, which is sufficient to establish they are pursuing the discrimination charges against Phillips in bad faith, motivated by Phillips's religion. The same agency that the Supreme Court rebuked as hostile to Jack Phillips has remained committed to treating him unequally and forcing him to express messages that violate his religious beliefs. The ADF senior counsel, Jim Campbell, wrote this up in the statement. Colorado is also acting in bad faith with bias towards Jack. We look forward to moving forward with this lawsuit to ensure that Jack isn't forced to create custom cakes that express messages in conflict with his faith. Like I said, you could totally disagree with his beliefs and what he wants to do for his projects. That's fine. Pack up, go somewhere else, and find somebody else to make your cake. I guarantee you, in Colorado, it's going to be easy for you to find a cake that will be made for your gender transition party or your same-sex wedding party or what have you. But nobody should be required to make these things in violation of their religious beliefs, whether you agree with their religious beliefs or not. Let's see, what do we have here? Campbell added that Phillips serves all customers regardless of their lifestyle, but doesn't create custom cakes that express messages that conflict with his religious beliefs. And this is where you get some people who say, this is discrimination. It's not discrimination, ladies and gentlemen, because he serves gay people all the time. He doesn't have a problem with that. He didn't want to make that cake for that one specific event. That's a big difference. Got more coming up, 95.3 MNC and News Talk 1190 WOWO, 107.5 FM.
Hi, my name is Dave Anderson. I've been selling new cars at Lockman Motors for 30 years.
Scotch ale, super yummy. Yeah, I second Alex on Scotch ale. Never remember that until it's in front of me, but you definitely want that one. That one's good.
We have all makes and models of pre-owned vehicles, something for every need and every budget. There are a lot of options for what you can do with your tax return. Buying a newer pre-owned vehicle from Lockman Motors is the best way to make that dollar go further and get more for your money. Using that money as a down payment lowers your monthly payment. You could be driving something newer or better than you are right now for a lower payment. Lockman Motors' values of honesty and integrity are evident to customers and employees alike. That's why so many of us have been here for so long and have customers that come back over and over for all their vehicle needs. Shop the inventory right now at LockMoneyMotors.com. I'm Dan Anderson. And I'm Greg Slaybo. Visit Lock Money Motors in Elkhart, a tradition of caring since 1954.
Brian Kilmeade here. You know, I'm of Irish and Italian heritage. Growing up on Long Island in New York, I worked at my family's restaurant bar, and I remember with pride and care we took in preparing food. A lot has changed in the food world. Now our nation is packed with cookie-cutter restaurants.
Cookie-cutter restaurants. Man, I would love a cookie-cutter restaurant.
You know what I really like, AC?
Cookies.
Cookie-cutter die cuts. Yeah. With stickers, you know? You know what I mean, Casey?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I've been all over, and it's hard to find a family-run restaurant that will treat you any better. You'll know immediately the food is made with care and pride.
And the best part is, if Paul cuts his finger off in the meat grinder before he serves you, he will just throw a finger condom on that bad boy, wrap it up, and still serve you food. That's how dedicated homeboy is. That's what happened. It was great. Can't believe he actually showed up to work. Like, what are you doing here, man? I said, well, I wasn't going to miss this. Somebody had to make your food. You lost a finger. You chopped it off. Yeah? That's dedication right there.
Yeah, it's like 7% of people aren't showing up, though. TSA is missing like 7% of their workers. You literally just did a report on it like 2 days ago.
It's not like TSA employees are the highest quality people in the world anyway.
High demand.
Probably the 7% you don't want working security. Just saying. Tissa. All right, Mark says thanks.
In the 95.3 MNC Consumer Alert, the FDA is alerting pet owners to the recall of several brands of dog food.
The food carries a risk of toxic levels of vitamin D.
Yeah, I heard you on recording this.
You did.
The show.
Oh, son of a gun.
Controls more than usual, loses appetite or vomit, should be taken to a vet immediately. All of the pet food covered by this recall
right here.
is listed within the story at 95.3.
The light wasn't on.
Yeah.
There was no on-air light. So I was like, okay, let's walk in.
Oh, I've got this post of 20 border walls and barriers and fences from around the world. I got to put up in Discord for you guys. I mean, it's a total throwaway, but you know.
Assuming there was no good cause. Assuming no good cause, I would not carry out that instruction.
Barr says he does not believe Mueller would be involved in any kind of
What is the attorney general?
Top law enforcement person in the country. Basically your lead prosecutor, essentially. Think of it that way.
He's the DA.
Pretty much.
This is exactly what they expected. They expected a big loss for Theresa May.
Things I should have learned in company.
Well, I mean, they do keep changing their powers as well, so.
Right, but I don't know what goes in his cabinet other than the secretary.
Yeah.
The Secretary of Defense, Education.
Like I said, it changes all the time, man. So.
You're another, the one that's right next state. Secretary of State.
So
that's all I know.
the Attorney General basically runs the DOJ. Polish mayor has died a day after being stabbed at a children's charity event. I don't know. Do you want me to open it? Okay. Well, he's dead. At a kid's charity event. Meghan McCain floats parallel universe theory. Jeb Bush is president, and I'm happy.
What?
Okay.
What the fuck? I mean,
there's a reason.
If you believe in multiverse, technically there's a universe where Jeb Bush is president.
There's a reason that Jeb didn't get any votes, even from half of his family.
In fact, Casey, there's a universe where you're president.
Damn right. Don't you forget it. There was a campaign to get me a speaker several years ago. Because you don't need to be a member of Congress to be speaker. Believe it or not. Had like 3 people. Really push hard.
They've got everything from mint Oreo to maple bacon, strawberry cheesecake, candy, pizza.
Prominent, he says. Prominent member of the community. He said member. Okay. I got no chance in hell of getting elected to anything. I'd have to nuke all of my social media 6 months before the announcement was even made. That way they couldn't use anything against me. And then it would be, where's all of his social media? Sometimes these things just happen, right? Huh? A la Clapper? When Clapper disappeared all the hard drives of all of the illegal activity the IRS was doing, and he deleted them, destroyed them without warrant. Sometimes these things just happen. Is that it?
The video streaming giant is raising its prices by 13 to 18% in the U.S. as the company heavily.
They just raised their prices.
So did Adobe.
Yeah, you told me that. You told me your Adobe went up. Yeah, Netflix just raised their damn prices.
With the Fox Business Report, I'm
I remember it was like $7.99 a month.
It's going to get to the point where nobody's going to want Netflix anymore if they keep raising this crap. And then
Hulu and Amazon both have better selection.
It depends on what you watch. I find things on all of them. I probably spend most of my time on Netflix and Amazon.
I spend most of my time on Hulu or YouTube.
Yeah.
So
My kids, it's all YouTube.
Like, YouTube has, I like YouTube because it has some good, I like some creators that stuff. But then I have premiums on like a site where you, because they're a media conglomerate, so I subscribe premium to them. But other than that, spend most of my time on either their website or YouTube or Hulu.
Word.
Not at you. News Talk
There's the headache.
Michiana's News Channel. Casey Hendrickson.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. Again, area code 574. You can also send me a text message at 45364. Please put MNC or WOA at the beginning of that message. I'm also covering for Pat Miller over on News Talk 1190 WOA 107.5 FM. I want to thank the Fort Wayne audience for joining us today. Do want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range. A basic pistol course is coming up on the 20th at noon. And again, that is this Sunday. You can sign up for that by going to secondamendmentarms.net and getting more information. All right, a couple of the text messages that I just got. Casey, do you think that students trying to get grants for useful studies get peeved, clean up the language a little bit, about these stupid grant studies? Yeah, of course they do. Because if you look at the National Academy of Sciences and where most of their money goes for crap. It doesn't go for real research. It goes for garbage research, which they say may or may not lead to something. It's just, it's one of those things that it's very wasteful. And there's a lot of research out there that is worthwhile, and we should be funding that they can't get the research that the funding that they need because other dollars are being used for stupid stuff. If we go to the cake case, Casey, I think that if they argue the cake case any other way, it would have been decided on non-religious grounds, and they chose not to open that back door. Maybe, maybe not. But remember, they also lost. They had to come back with the First Amendment arguments in order to go ahead and win that case second time around. So luckily, they were able to get that done. And now, of course, he's still being persecuted. So hopefully, we will get this all rectified in the near future. All right, so the Saudi Arabian flag candy statue has been removed from ground zero. Now, this is a 9-foot sculpture. It depicts the Saudi Arabian flag in the shape of a piece of candy. Now, this had people upset because this is at ground zero, okay? So, obviously, we know that most of the attackers were Saudi Arabian. There's a huge lawsuit and stuff involving people suing Saudi Arabia for involvement, as it's now been uncovered that some Saudi officials had more involvement than previously released to the public in helping the hijackers get in and out of the United States and things of that nature. So Saudi Arabia's hands are a little dirty. It's one of the things that the Crown Prince is trying to get rid of. He's trying to get rid of that jihadist sentiment in his government and even in his family. And of course, our media is just attacking him relentlessly as some kind of a barbarian. But you have to understand what country that is and what they're dealing with. People are always a little shocked when I tell them this. If you go to Saudi Arabia, you cannot go to the park and play music. Okay? Something we take for granted here. Every college campus has got that one guy that sits under the tree and plays a guitar, right? Yeah, he would be beaten to within an inch of his life and disappeared if he did that in Saudi Arabia. You're not allowed to. And they have a religious police force there that is totally separate from their police force. And their sole job is to go around and enforce Sharia. That's their entire job. And they have unfettered power to do that. And so people just look at Saudi Arabia, oh, it's a rich country, and oh, they're an ally, and we use them sometimes against the terrorists and that sort of thing. And they just automatically assume that this is not some backwards, really horrible society. And it is. It's terrible. But there are good people there within the royal family. Well, the Crown Prince is one of those guys who wants to stamp out all of that jihadist stuff and he wants to be pro-Western, wants to open up business and culture to the Western world. And, you know, he's going to have to deal with the jihadists, and that's what he's been doing. So naturally, as he starts doing that, American media goes in there and says, oh, he's horrible. This Khashoggi fiasco is nonsense. First of all, Khashoggi wasn't a journalist, okay? Stop calling him a journalist. He wasn't a journalist. He was a guy who occasionally wrote a column in the Washington Post, and he was an agent of Qatar. So we now know that he was actually working for the government of Qatar in a public relations campaign to actually overthrow the Saudi royal family. And we have the text messages to prove it. So this is a guy who is literally an enemy of the Saudi Arabian government. So if the Saudi Arabian government did kill the guy, they would absolutely 100% have cause to do so. In spite of what the Washington Post or anybody else wants you to think about him, he's just a journalist. No, he's not just a journalist. The guy was actually a government agent trying to overthrow another country's government. That's what he was. And he occasionally wrote a column in the Washington Post. That's it. Okay? It's not like we have one of our famous journalists or something like that was all of a sudden just executed because they wrote something unsavory about a government official they didn't like. That's not the case. That's not what happened. So anyway, this sculpture got up there. People were sending me pictures of this sculpture, because this is at ground zero, right? And people, this was interesting. I saw it actually get fact-checked on Snopes. So Snopes fact-checked it by confirming that everything that was being said about it was true, but then saying that the outrage was unreasonable, right? So when websites go out there and say, hey, look, there is this, the Saudi Arabian flag, which has, there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the prophet. That's in Arabic on the flag, okay? So when you look at that, at ground zero, 9/11, where Saudis were primarily the people that were responsible for that, where some members of the Saudi government had some culpability there, the optics of that alone should irritate most people. Okay. Now, was the artist trying to say that Christians are bad and Muslims are good? No. This is a part of a separate sort of an artistic piece. It had the flags of all of the G20 countries on it. This is a piece that had been moving around New York. Okay. This was one of those stops. It was installed around ground zero. They're trying to make ground zero kind of like a downtown hub. They want it to be a cultural hub. They want people to be there. And this was a big art piece in New York. And so when it was done with it at its previous location in New York, they packed it up, brought it over to ground zero, and they installed it. So you have all of the flags of all of the G20 member nations that look like pieces of candy. All right. But you still have Saudi Arabia's flag there. That sticks in the craw of people just for the optics. You're at a place where Muslim extremists who are tied to Saudi Arabia killed thousands of Americans and other people. And you don't put something like that at ground zero. So like I said, just the pure optics of it. Okay. The artist wasn't trying to make a point or anything like that. It was just a totally separate piece. So I did see some people go overboard with that respect. But when people were trying to say there's no real outrage, but a couple of right-wing websites or something like that, that's not true. Because people in New York were furious about this. Again, the optics of it. It's not that the artist was trying to be controversial. It's just that it was the location. So the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey said that they are going to now relocate the installation, which features the words, there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the prophet in Arabic, after many felt that its proximity to ground zero and 9/11 memorial was insulting and insensitive. Again, 15 of the 19 hijackers were Saudi, and go into the lawsuit, which we already did. So they have announced that they're actually going to move the display, and they should. Many survivors and others affected by the attack were upset, confused at the placement, and are welcoming the decision to relocate the statue to the John F. Kennedy International Airport, which is probably a good place for it. It's an international airport. G20 is an international organization, obviously. And so you can display it there. And I don't think people are going to get upset about it. But like I said, it's just one of those things where location, you can't put something like that at ground zero where it's hollowed ground. And you're basically, you have to look at the optics from a terrorist perspective. They're seeing, oh, hey, that's 9/11, that's their memorial. And yet they're erecting our slogans, our God above theirs. at a place where we killed a bunch of their people. So it's a very good recruitment tool too. So finally, the Port Authority and others have announced that it's coming down and they're going to fix the situation, which is the right call. 574-2595, 95.3. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, and covering for Pat Miller on News Talk 1190 WOWO, 107.5 FM.
KC Hendrickson, News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather.
One of my best experiences. One of my favorite part about joining
Winter weather stays in the forecast, becoming more active by the weekend. 34 Wednesday may have a little freezing fog or drizzle in the morning.
Yeah, I've only seen it on TV, but it's still pretty darn powerful.
Because you're there in downtown.
Yeah,
it's just loud, and you get there, and
it's quiet.
Yeah, it's a very mellow compared to the rest of the city. It's a mellow area. It's very.
I would imagine it's probably similar to walking into Auschwitz or something. It's just, you know, you're on the drive there, and then you get inside. It's like, oh.
And then the actual museum is just get inside.
Yeah.
Like throughout the entire museum.
And before your drive comes to a grinding halt, get traffic alerts direct.
Yep, skip. I bet. One day I'll go to Tucker's and go there.
Online and on your cell. From News Talk 95.3 Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Hi, my name is Dave Anderson. I've been selling new cars at Lock Monday Motors for over 30 years.
And I'm Greg Slagle. I've been selling pre-owned vehicles at Lock Monday Motors for 16 years.
Greg and I have been working together a long time, and every year there's a lot of excitement at tax time.
Yeah, that's right. We have so many vehicles, we are running out of places to park.
We have a tremendous offering of new Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, Dodge, Buick, and GMC models. We only stock the best and most desirable from these premium brands.
We have all makes and models of pre-owned vehicles, something for every need and every budget.
There are a lot of options for what you can do with your tax return. Buying a new or pre-owned vehicle from Lock Monday Motors is the best way to make that dollar go further and get more for your money.
Using that money as a down payment lowers your monthly payment. You could be driving something newer or better than you are right now for a lower payment.
Lock Monday Motors' values of honesty and integrity are evident to customers and employees alike. That's why so many of us have been here for so long and have customers that come back over and over for all their needs.
Shop the inventory right now at LockMondayMotors.com.
I'm Dave Anderson.
And I'm Greg Slagle. Visit Lock Monday Motors in Elkhart, a tradition of caring since 1954.
Hi, this is Dwayne Miller with Good Faith Management, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast and for a fair price, call me at 574-294-5678. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses
7 days,
7 days, yo.
Range and in any location. I am not a realtor or associated with any realty company. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy even more. Call me at 574-294-5678. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind-in-payment houses. I even buy my tenant will pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junky houses too. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast and for a fair price, call me at 574-294-5678. That's 574-294-5678.
Doop-a-doop-a-doo.
There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years.
Let's see if they've corrected this article from NBC New York.
Per month level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right. Level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available.
You sure as hell did.
At Termbusters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-800-569-5440. That's 1-800-569-5440.
The problem is,
you're probably paying
they didn't tell everybody that they corrected it. So they changed it.
At termbusters.net. Remember, 1-800-569-5440. Rates and availability may vary by state.
Well, it's still in the what to know section of it, so good Lord. You'll know what I'm talking about here in a minute.
Ag and lawn equipment, Wakarusa has the new versatile MFWD tractor in stock. The versatile MFWD has a new style for better visibility and maximum infield performance. Available with 265 through 365 engine horsepower, the versatile MFWD features a smooth shifting 16-speed full power shift transmission. The cab is designed for operator comfort and features climate control, movable right-hand console, and single lever shifting.
Ah, PBR is actually not bad. Rhonda, we can't be friends anymore. Shame on you.
At Weaver Ag and Lawn Equipment, we believe hard work doesn't have to be hard or expensive. And having the right tools will help make hard work easier and more economical. Our experienced team members will work with you to find the versatile tractor that best fits your needs. We offer a full line
Oh, man, PBR.
power and simplicity of the
Gross.
Let's introduce the laws that remove evolution from the state science standards.
What's the difference between
Which state?
a bed from Elkhart Bedding and a national brand? Two
He's
things.
the guy sponsoring the Creation Science Bill.
Our materials and construction
Who is it again?
are the same
Dennis
as the
Cruz.
national
Cruz.
But
District
because we're
14.
factory direct, we eliminate warehouses.
The problem is that
Senate Bill, Indiana Senate Bill 317.
Like our two-sided queen sleep set for just $299.
problem is they should if you're going to teach it, they should both be taught because the theory of evolution gets changed every year because it's a theory, but it's not taught as a theory. That's the problem. So it should be taught as a theory, but you shouldn't erase it altogether. That's dumb.
But that's what this guy wants. He wants to remove.
Well, you know,
He wants to remove.
who's your pride? Who's your pride, man? We just got Sunday alcohol sales, man. What do you want? Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Do want to thank R&B Car Company, locations in South Bend and Warsaw. R&B Car Company are your used car experts. Phone number 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. Again, area code 574. You can also send me a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Somebody sent me a text that, hey, there's multiple political factions in Saudi Arabia. Just like our left and right, we blame the whole country for crimes of its citizens. What faction was OBL from? So bin Laden is a Wahhabist, which is the state religion of Saudi Arabia. And it's a radical, sort of a fringe form of Sunni Muslim. It's a literal interpretation of the Quran, which is why some of the stuff that they do is barbaric by our standards. But with that said, there are those who are reformists in the royal family and in the government who want to alleviate a lot of that. So, you know, it's the media in the United States has been really unhappy with Saudi Arabia over Yemen. And, you know, Yemen is a country where terrorist jihadists have been trying to take over. So there's a civil war there. Well, Saudi Arabia has come down on the side against the terrorist jihadists. And things get ugly when you're fighting terrorists. They go into civilian areas. It's just how it is. And Saudi Arabia doesn't much concern themselves with that stuff. They're trying to win a conflict. And our media really hates that. So they've been attacking Saudi Arabia like they typically attack Israel, somewhat unfairly. You know, you just had one of the jihadists in Yemen. Is it Houthi? I think it is. Just like massacre a bunch of people, and our media didn't pick up on it at all. But every time there's any Saudi Arabian civilian casualties that happen there, it's all over the American press. So it's just, you know, it is what it is. They pick and choose who they want, and we saw them push a false Syria narrative for a long time now. And I don't know what else to say. It's the media. I don't know. People know not to trust them, but yet they do. It's the weirdest thing. So anyway, the Women's March. The Women's March is anti-Semitic, has been anti-Semitic from the beginning. And when it first got going with the inauguration of President Trump, people were told that people who were responsible for starting it were anti-Semitic. And they don't like Jews. They are pro-Sharia law, that sort of thing. They're pro-Farrakhan. And they were warned. And now, all of a sudden, over the past couple of months, that has come out. And now people are going, oh, I'm just shocked that they're anti-Semitic. Well, no, you're not shocked. It just got to the point you couldn't hide from it anymore. So you've got people like Alyssa Milano all of a sudden parting ways with the Women's March. I think the president of the Women's March, I think that was her title. She was just on The View defending, saying that Farrakhan is the greatest ever. Okay, Farrakhan hates Jewish people. Farrakhan hates white people. So when you're out there saying Farrakhan is this amazing guy, and he is literally the definition of bigot, and you can't hide from it in any way, shape, or form, and she's still out there defending it. So she did that, and today the Democratic National Committee has ended its partnership with the Women's March. The DNC is ending the formal support of the National Women's March organization, becoming the latest of 300 groups to do so, as the national organization continues to make itself the center of negative attention due to its leaders' long-running association with anti-Semitic figures. Which, again, were all well known when this whole thing was launched. I and hundreds of other people were on social media when this was getting going. You saw all these celebrities popping on, tweeting to these celebrities, be careful, they're anti-Semitic. And if one thing doesn't mix in this country, in the political left, it is Hollywood and anti-Semitic sentiment, because that just does not mix. A lot of Jewish folks in Hollywood, and to have Hollywood types supporting anti-Semitic messages or people are anti-Semitic, that is not going to bode very well. But unfortunately, it took 2 years for this to all come out. And I don't know why it took 2 years for this to come out, because it was well known at the time. DNC, again, the latest major liberal organization to disassociate itself with the march. Prominent liberal activist groups such as the National Abortion and Reproductive Rights Action League and Human Rights Campaign and the Southern Poverty Law Center have all ended their sponsorship of the organization, as they should have done from the very, very beginning. Key leaders within the march's national organization, such as Linda Sarsour, Tamika Mallory, and Carmen Perez, have all expressed some level of anti-Semitism in recent years. Sarsour has spoken in approval of Sharia law, which she did long before she actually jumped onto this thing, and is an avid supporter of the movement to, quote, boycott, divest, and sanction the Jewish state of Israel. So, I mean, she's also got close ties to Hamas and everything else. The latest woman who is, the one that called Trump MF, she is now hanging out with Hezbollah. so she's the latest member of Congress. She's hanging out with Hezbollah. We're all coming down on Steve King, and I think rightfully so, for the stuff that he wrote in his op-ed. But let's not forget, you've got other people who are elected members of Congress, new members, who share pretty radical and bigoted views as well, that need to have the same type of attention shine on them. The media is not interested in that. Like I said, the media was able to hide this for over 2 years. Anyway, we got a lot more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, and covering for Pat Miller on News Talk 1190 WOWO 107.5 FM.
My name's Dave Titus.
Alrighty. All right. That's funny. Didn't like Matthew McConaughey tweet out once? He's like, I've said all right like one time in my life. All right, folks. I'm going to play a commercial for you. I'm going to grab some coffee. I'll be right back. you purchase it and then you just didn't get the new versions unless you paid for the upgrade,
which is fine.
Which is totally fine. We're still running really old versions of Adobe.
You kidding me? What? This is an old ass version of Audition.
Yep. When I got my Audition at home, I didn't even recognize it.
You're like, this is Audition?
One of the things that we use routinely here is not even in that software. And I had to learn the software all over again.
I believe it.
Totally different.
I would, as a company, I wouldn't want to pay for it. When we have it, it does what we need it to. You can tell just by looking at the UI that it's old.
Yeah.
Because the UIs anymore are not.
Yep. Theoretically, Al, you are correct. You can hide your Michigan marijuana in my knife and smuggle it back into Indiana. So I would not recommend doing that because that would be against the law.
That's drug trafficking.
Yep. But I do have hidden storage in the handle.
Why do you have hidden storage in the handle?
Like fishing kits, survival kits, stuff like that.
Your fixed knives? Your fixed blades? Oh, yeah. Your fixed blade knives. Yes. I was thinking of your
Nope.
I don't know.
Nope.
Potential candidates are still considering a run for the job. And a bill in the Indiana Senate, the latest to require the teaching of creationism in the state's public schools. Suffet Tribune reports it's the sixth creationism bill by Senator Dennis Cruz that he's introduced in the state Senate since 2000. The other 5 ended in failed attempts to
I'm starting to crash, damn it.
The Supreme Court ruled teaching creationism in public schools
Oh, that's funny.
back in 1987.
Okay, what's that?
We've been saying that for years.
That makes comfort experts, heating specialist, first warning forecast.
Had a wonderful time meeting a fan today to chase your dreams out of town hall. It's some small little YouTuber who's the daughter of a bigger YouTuber.
It is always interesting when you're just shopping and all of a sudden somebody is like, is that Casey? Like, yeah, maybe.
Minutes matter when severe weather hits. Get 95.3 MNC
It's not a good joke. I slept with my audiologist and got AIDS. It's not a good joke. Yeah, ear doctor.
Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. Today's fluctuating interest rates can leave you with unexpected higher mortgage payments. At Quicken Loans, we've created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest.
I get what they were trying to do, just didn't quite pull it off.
And here's how it works. With Rate Shield, you can lock your interest rate while you shop for a new home.
Remember, you can't have the pink hats anymore, Alex. In fact, one of the guys that's running for mayor of Elkhart, or may run for mayor of Elkhart, a Democrat, he said he might. He's got pictures of him wearing pink hats. Remember, pink hats are offensive. They're not inclusive.
Did you see the Far From Home trailer?
And for the 5th year in a row,
nope.
Also ranked as the highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Rate Shield, another way we can save you money.
Haven't been on the YouTubers.
I wasn't either. I saw it on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. They haven't really done that today either yet. They haven't really been on anything, actually.
But it came out today.
Okay.
It looks promising.
I'll take a look at it.
Because I know you're a big fan.
I am. Big Spider-Man fan. Especially Marissa Tomei is Aunt May. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595953. Once again, area code 574 if you'd like to join us. You can also send me a text message by texting to 45364. Please put MNC or WOWO at the beginning of that. I am covering for Pat Miller today on News Talk 1190 WOWO 107.5 FM. For those of you in Fort Wayne listening to the program and wondering what in the world is going on. So just covering for him today. What do we have here? Gillette. We'll get to Gillette. So Gillette's in the middle of a controversy. And it's not because they have overpriced razors. It's for a different reason. We'll get to that here in just a second. Do want to thank our sponsors, Second Amendment Arms and Range. Again, located in New Carlisle. If you mention me, you get half off your range time. You also get 10% off your purchases in the store. You also get listener-exclusive discounts on firearms, which you can't get from anybody else. And if you're looking at picking up one of my knives or my holsters, they sell them there. So go to secondamendmentarms.net to learn more about that. All right. Gillette. So I have not owned a Gillette razor in a long time. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm doing the beard thing now. So Gillette, why would you? Okay, first of all, you're a product. It's a fine product. Don't get me wrong. It's overpriced, but it's a fine product. So you make good razors. At one point in time, you really didn't have any competition because, you know, it was Gillette and Schick, and really the only things that they could do differently were to add a razor blade to it. So eventually we're going to have 20 razor blades on a razor head because it was the only thing that either one of them could do. It got into the point where you had basically peak evolution of razors. And so every year they would just add a different blade or a new blade on top of the razor. And the razor heads would get bigger and more expensive. And then you had the Dollar Shave Club come along. Dollar Shave Club razors are great, by the way. You had Henry's razors come along. I hear good things about them. I've never used one. Now everybody's going to the old school straight razor. A lot of people are getting those because custom knife makers make a lot of those. So people are picking those up relatively cheap and they're shaving it the old way. So there's a lot of things that people are doing right now. This is not the time for Gillette to be rattling feathers. And that's exactly what they did. So they have this new campaign. We believe the best men can be. Now I'm going to play this, but I want you to understand the audio is not as impactful as the video. So if you have not seen the video, I would encourage you to go watch it so you can kind of see exactly where they're going with everything. You get it from the audio. Don't get me wrong. It's just that it's audio. This is a visual medium that this comes from. And so you're going to lose a little bit of what they're trying to convey. But this is the latest Gillette commercial.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it?
A problem.
We can't hide from it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long. We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy?
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
But something finally changed.
Allegations regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
But she says
and there will be no going back. Because we believe in the best in men.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
Smile, sweetie.
Come on.
To say the right thing. To act the right way.
Bro, not cool. Not cool.
Some already are. In ways big.
Yo, men.
And small.
I am strong.
But some is not enough.
That's not how we treat each other, okay? Okay.
Because the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow.
All right, so a lot of stuff going on in that particular video. Now, I want to make it crystal clear. I've got no problem with the second half of the video. The second half of the video, which shows fathers interfering in various forms of injustice and things like that, and their sons watching and showing your children that it is okay to stand up for the weak and to defend those who need defending and that sort of thing. I've got no issue with that message. I think most of us who've served in the military probably understand that concept. But the entire first half of the commercial is about how men and the culture of men is predatory against women. And that's nonsense. It's factually untrue. It is a slander against men from the get-go. But that's exactly the portrayal that they're putting out there. So instead of just making a commercial, if they had made the commercial and cut off all of the nonsense at the beginning of that, and it simply made it about good men showing their sons to step in and do the right thing when it's necessary, or men who are friends keeping a friend in line after they're stepping out of line maybe and treating somebody inappropriately. If they had a commercial like that, they wouldn't have the backlash. But the problem is that they made men's culture all about abusing women, sexually assaulting women, and everything else, as if it does not happen the other way around on a routine basis. That's the issue that people have with this. So I'm going to go to Ash Show. Now, she's with the Daily Wire. She is quickly becoming one of my favorites. This is not an audio clip, by the way, producer. She is one of my favorite writers. She's a young woman, and she wrote Eye Roll. Now Gillette razors are talking about, quote, toxic masculinity. Nobody ever talks about toxic femininity, and it exists. As if we needed another thing in our lives to be politicized. Now, men can't even get a cheap razor without being told their gender sucks and they're to blame for other men's actions. It's not a cheap razor, but I wouldn't expect Ash Show to know that. In a new commercial for Procter & Gamble's Gillette razor brand, images of men are shown as audio of news clips about the Me Too movement, and toxic masculinity can be heard. A narrator asks, is this the best a man can get? Which, of course, is Gillette's slogan. We then see teenagers chasing a boy as we hear clips about bullying, fake sitcom stars making jokes about women. Now, I have told you this many, many times. You watch primetime television. It is not men harassing women or making jokes about women or demeaning women. It is women demeaning men, all primetime, all the time. And years ago, I just told the story earlier this week, didn't I? Which was yesterday. Years ago, I had a female co-host. She did not believe me on this, and I told her to go home. And I said, you watch primetime television on network television this entire week. This is before Netflix. And you come back and you tell me that there isn't a distinguished anti-male bias on every show you watch. They're always treated as insensitive, the doofus, the ignoramus, the one that has to have the woman pick up their mess, clean up after them, right? They're always portrayed that way. And she goes home, and I'm expecting to talk about it on a Friday. That was a Monday. She goes home, she comes back the next day, and she goes, I had no idea it was that bad. It took her one day of watching television and actually paying attention to it to notice that every primetime television show that was on right now, all the sitcoms, all the dramas and everything, we had a blatant hostile attitude towards men. So if you look at how our society behaves, we don't have a lot of shows that portray men being demeaning to women as a positive thing. We do have a lot of shows with women being demeaning to men that are shown as a positive thing. Oh, it's just a joke. It's no big deal. And guys take it because, yeah, it is what it is. So anyway, Ash Show continues. Fake sitcom stars making jokes about women. There were no actual examples available. And even an example of mansplaining. That was the guy that said what I think she's actually trying to say, which I have seen men do to other men. I don't know how many times in business meetings in my professional career. What I think so-and-so is trying to say. I've got a meeting tomorrow. I guarantee you it's going to happen. Going to be all men in the meeting. Guarantee you. After all of this, we're told that we're making the same old excuses while the phrases boys will be boys is heard over and over again, as if that phrase relates exclusively to sexual discrimination, which it doesn't. Most of the time when people use that phrase, it's about kids, boys being wild and breaking stuff and being trying to be superheroes and things like that. Oh, but thankfully, the Gillette narrator says, we believe in the best of men. We then see a clip of the actor Terry Crews saying men need to hold other men accountable. He's right, by the way. Remember, Terry Crews is a victim of sexual assault. Then we're shown scenes from men intervening when other men tell women to smile or walk after them on the street or stopping bullying. Some are already doing this, the ad says, but some is not enough because the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow. There's more to this. And there's more point that I want to make, including another story that is totally unrelated to this, but yet somehow is. We'll talk about all that coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, and of course, News Talk 1190 WOWO 107.5 FM.
KC Hendrickson, News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialist 5-day forecast.
Winter weather stays in the forecast, becoming more active by the weekend. 34 Wednesday may have a little freezing fog or drizzle in the morning.
Oh my God, are we talking about Mad TV?
Light snow showers in the forecast Thursday, not a big impact. You can see up to an inch of accumulation. Back in the 20s Thursday night, 30 on Friday, mostly cloudy. The lull before the storm that arrives on Saturday. Looks to be steady and possibly significant snowfall on Saturday with a high of 22. Then temperatures drop into Sunday with a high of 16. In the ABC 57.
What's that?
This Penguin Point seems sketchier than it actually is.
Penguin Point?
The top news stories.
I don't call it a shutdown.
Oh, what is it?
What you have to do for the benefit and for the safety of our country.
Okay.
One person in the room that's trying to find compromise.
They're decent, but they seem a lot sketchier than they actually are.
I don't think I've ever heard of it.
They're like,
What do they serve? Penguin meat?
they're a fast food shop.
Oh, because I'd eat penguin meat. If they serve penguin meat, I'd be interested in trying that out. They could have some polar bear meat too.
Michiana's News Channel. Your
Well, I mean, if you're going to go with a theme, you got to go with a theme, dude. Chick-fil-A doesn't serve beef, okay? Just saying. So that's, you know, the Terry Crews situation is actually really interesting. So he was new in acting, and he was groped by a guy that he could easily snap in half. But he didn't because of his career. And so to maintain his career trajectory, he didn't do anything, and he didn't speak out about it for a long time. When the Me Too stuff happened, he came out and said, hey, it's not just women who get harassed. And it was shortly after he did that, you know, he testified before Congress, and then we started hearing about all of the other men who have been victimized by people in Hollywood, men and women, who were the perpetrator. But yeah, he could have easily, and he acknowledges this, he's like, I could have snapped the guy in two, but you know, I was protecting my career, and so I didn't do anything or say anything and that sort of stuff. Oh, hell yeah, I was a Mad TV fan from episode 1, dude. You kidding me? I still make tobacco pouch jokes anytime I see a woman who puts something like inside her bikini to store it there. It's where I store my tobacco, Chuck. Uh-oh, which one is it? Did they say? I don't know which one that is. Is that the pin? The firing pin got robbed.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Somebody smashed their car into it? That's how they got in?
Smash and grab.
The firing pin in Niles got robbed, guys.
Unlimited monthly car wash packages starting at just $15.95. Good at both of their locations in South Bend and Mishawaka. See HartwoodAutoSpa.com for more details. Hartwood Auto Spa, come as you are. Stay in your car. Hi, I'm Dr. Terrence.
Oh, dude, Celebrity Deathmatch. Man, I used to binge watch the hell out of that. Are you kidding me? I saw every Mad TV episode at least 15 times. Was in love with the white blonde flag girl dancer, and the Celebrity Deathmatch thing. I still wish they'd bring that back. I think Celebrity Deathmatch, as popular as it was ahead of its time, and I think it would absolutely thrive right now. If that were a Netflix or something type only show, oh my God. Could you imagine the stuff that they would do? Because they did a Donald Trump one. I got to go back and find that. I got to go back and find the Donald Trump one. G, what are you referring to? G. That's not ringing a bell.
I enjoyed the vodka tortellini also.
Holy G, Batman.
This is the first time we've been here.
Oh, Niles Ice Festival is getting ready to go. That's always a cool thing to go to. Gary and Mike, or Mike, yeah, I think it was Gary and Mike, wasn't it? I remember the name of it. Did I watch that? Hold on, I gotta look it up. Gary and Mike.
Come in and enjoy some good Italian food like Mama used to make.
That I was not a huge fan of. I watched a couple of episodes, but yeah, back when the whole claymation thing was going. I was super stoked because I mentioned Joe's Apartment the other day, and some random person started cracking up, and they got it. I was like, yes, somebody knows what Joe's Apartment was. Now, the movie was hokey, okay, but Joe's Apartment, the show, was amazing.
advisors work off one transparent fee structure, and we never receive commission.
Hey, look, Tom Coombs is inside. Shocker, he's inside in the warm air. Who is he going to throw it to that's outside, freezing? Ooh, will it be a little white girl or will it be the black guy? Who's it going to be?
Or the All-Pro Dad's Breakfast sponsor at Beardsley and other area schools to elevate the role of dads.
Tom Coombs fired for coming in and beating the crap out of Casey Hendrickson on his show.
We've had dinners with him as a guest and everything too. So I know.
When it's time to build, make us your first call.
You never heard of Joe's Apartment? Dude. Okay, just understand that the show is better than the movie. But the show is so popular that they had to make a movie. It was one of those things. But even the movie is B-movie entertainment. Right, it's good stuff. I should probably start a YouTube channel and just stream old episodes of Joe's Apartment. It's got to be public domain by now.
So it turns out those pictures of the dark side of the moon from China, they might not be real. Details Wednesday morning, Michiana's Morning News with me, Mark McGill, News Talk 95.3.
Sure, just take away everybody's space exploration. Yes, the talking cockroaches. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-3. That's 2595953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. We are live streaming. So if you go to youtube.com/Casey the host, that's CASEY. Or you go to facebook.com/Casey the host. Prefer YouTube, but if you go to Facebook, it's there as well. And while you're there, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click on the like button and also click on the bell icon to get notified when you upload a new video. So we're talking about Gillette. I've already got a bunch of people texting me and in the live stream saying that Gillette just lost a customer. So Gillette does a toxic masculinity commercial. And to an extent, like I said, I understand what it is that they're trying to say. They're trying to say that, hey, men need to be examples for other men and for their children. And they do. They 100% do. The second half of this commercial, I think if you cut off all the stuff at the beginning and the second half of the commercial, which conveys the same exact message, but doesn't attack men and male culture as inherently sexist and abusive, then I think you get a positive reaction from everybody. But they chose to attack men at the beginning of it. Men are bad. Men are horrible. This is what men do, and we need to be better by doing these, and then showing examples of how to be better. And so you've got Ash Show. She's a woman and writes for the Daily Wire. One of my favorite writers, by the way. You should definitely check her out. And she is doing the eye roll thing on this thing. Thankfully, the Gillette narrator says, we believe in the best of men. We then see a clip of actor Terry Crews saying men need to hold other men accountable, and again, that they do. This self-policing narrative is one of the gentler smears of men in recent years, but there is never any acknowledgement of men trying to do this or an acknowledgement that you can't fix the world until no man anywhere does anything bad ever again. We can continue to shame all men for the actions of a few is the apparent message here. Imagine applying this idea to any other group and telling them to police themselves because some members of the group are terrible and smearing the entire group while you're at it. Hey, women, we're a little sick and tired of your gold digging, okay? So you need to start policing yourself. Boom. Right now, I guarantee you there are women who are just casually listening to this show right now, didn't hear anything that we've been discussing for the past 20 minutes, simply heard me say, women, we're tired of your gold digging, police yourself, and they are triggered right now. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Bullying especially isn't just a male problem. In fact, I just talked about a video where a female cheerleader minding her own business, some girl comes up, tries to bully her. Cheerleader walloped her, by the way, amazingly. She's minding her own business. Bullying happens with girls all the time. We never see any calls for women to be better because that would be labeled as sexist. And then Gillette basically says this is an important conversation to have and everything else. like I said, you can do a commercial like this where you can highlight, here's what we have to be. There's nothing wrong with having a narrative of this is how you become a man, or this is how you act as a man. You defend the weak. You show your children that it's okay to stick up for somebody, even if there's a dangerous element involved there. You hold your friends accountable when they're not being respectful to somebody, whether it's because of sexual tension or what have you. There's nothing wrong with that, because men do that actually on a regular basis. If you listen to some of the podcasts that are out there that are most listened to by men, that's exactly what they are. The Art of Manliness and several others are basically tutorials on how to be a man and how to thrive, flourish as one, how to conduct yourselves in a proper way. This is something that men strive for. Unfortunately, we live in a society where there aren't a lot of men at home. And so you've got a large segment of our population, over half of our population, by the way, will grow up without a male influence in their life. Did you know that? They've got only mom at home, and they've got over 80% women teachers. Okay, so they will grow up without having a male influence whatsoever. The others will have a limited male influence of their dad, because their teachers, again, are going to be female. So we have a lot of men growing up without a male example to lead them in their lives. This is why a two-parent household is so very, very important. Now, ladies, let me ask you about toxic femininity. A woman just accused a man of rape, but text messages have proved that it was a lie. College student claimed that she was forcibly raped by a man and reported him to police. Now she has been arrested for filing a false accusation. By the way, a couple of years ago, women didn't get arrested for this. Okay? Women got let go. They can make a false accusation of rape or sexual assault, and which happens routinely and often, and they would never be prosecuted for it. Now we're starting to prosecute women for this, thank God, because hopefully it'll alleviate some of this from happening. I just did a story a few weeks ago. 2 men let out of prison after 35 years for a rape they did not commit. They finally got the woman to admit that she was lying after new DNA evidence was analyzed. 35 years of their lives gone because of toxic femininity. Got more coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, and covering for Pat Miller on Newstalk 1190 WOWO, 107.5 FM. MNC News time is 5:29. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com. Masters gets there faster.
Here's the explanation of the word free. Free is the...
Didn't do it all hour.
We got it. We got it, though.
Wanted to make sure I could get in because they sponsor it.
255-4600 for home comfort expert.
I got it.
With a purchase of an AC.
Swizzle dizzle.
At the same time you'll be keeping your home cool this summer, you'll be keeping it warm.
So we had a bunch of these, and most of them somehow disappeared. I don't use them that often. Use maybe 1 or 2 shows.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's Mark. He uses those all the time. He's not a digital dude. He's a paper guy. So anytime he has, look in that top drawer.
You could be making money on it. Call Home Comfort Experts at 255-4600.
It was him talking. That picture. That's the picture I was talking about. They're going to put that. That's a good picture. That's hilarious.
Dude's just scarfing down, man.
Yeah, I know. I've seen this, and this is just...
Yeah, that used to be both shelves, and then on top.
Hi, I'm Dr. Terrence Mahoney. For over 30 years, we've been helping patients.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Video of like from the back of the room of him speaking to them.
Yeah,
it was just phones everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, people were. Yeah, I mean, everybody. Like, this is the least happy I've seen anybody in any of the clips that I've seen today. Like, everybody looked pretty darn happy.
It's salad. Fast food salad.
Yep,
salad.
it's salad. It's there. They got cake. You know,
probably Dairy Queen cake. I bet you.
Maybe. I don't know. I usually if I get a cake for my birthday, because I don't like cake. If I get a cake for my birthday, I want an ice cream cake. But 9 times out of 10, I just want a giant ass cookie.
Fallout. That's their...
You've got to go back with BurgerGate, man. Come on, it's BurgerGate.
And why 87% of ASU grads are recruited within 90 days.
Trump tweeted out, he said, there wasn't any food left. These guys are big eaters. What? Yeah, why the hell not?
Breaking news and weather station. Michiana's news channel.
Trump's fast food fallout.
The 95.3 MNC skill on Alexa and 95.3MNC.com.
Yeah, I forgot that Tide was a Procter & Gamble product. So they're catering to the Tide Pod crowd. But it looks like candy. It looks so much like candy.
Same people were doing Bird Box.
Yeah. Black guy in the snow. They put him outside in the snow again. He's the reporter. He's supposed to be outside in the snow, but it's kind of funny. It's the 5-year running. Tom Coombs is always toasty and warm inside, and then the next person they show is always outside freezing. He looked like he was cold as hell yesterday. Wherever he was, he did not look happy.
Last year, over 400 property owners avoided foreclosure through this program, which boasts a 92% success rate. You can learn more at the Treasurer's
Did you guys lose sound?
Street in St. Joseph during regular business hours, or at the Niles location.
Can you hear the words coming out of my mouth?
Always women in this.
Yeah, man. Why is it always the women sleeping in the beds? Comfortable.
Oh, that's not what I was.
On all the bed commercials.
Sure, Casey.
Just saying. Why? It's always them. It's never a guy. It's always chicks. Guys like to sleep too. You know why there's no guy in the bed? Because he's out providing for her so she can sleep in the bed.
You probably bought the bed, Casey.
Hey, there's a dude. He's sleeping. And he's by himself. This is why I can't run for office. That whole thing would be cut up into a million pieces. Make it seem like I said something I didn't say. Just like that guy who said that I was somehow praising Hitler or excusing Hitler for the Holocaust a couple weeks ago.
Stupid.
Yeah. You can't be friends with me anymore. It's okay. I don't need any more. Casey, that woman should be locked up for 35 years. Yeah, I agree.
Your home comfort experts, heating specialist, first warning forecast.
Temperatures in the mid to upper 20s, and not a lot changes overnight. Temperatures will stay in the upper 20s to around 30.
He looks like he upgraded his coat from yesterday. He looks like he made a trip to Burlington or something. He's like, okay, this is no way, because he was cold yesterday.
In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Coombs.
News powered by Temper Grill. Make plans this week to experience the unmatched style of Temper Grill. Seating is limited. Call or visit tempergranger.com today. When we say food with what we mean is the finest American-style tapas food in Michiana. Surrounded by a craft beer, fine wine, champagne, and dessert list that is as unique and seasonal as our menu. At Temper Grill, Chef Sean works with the finest ingredients, delivering you an unmatched dining experience that changes every week to fit the time of the year and its mood, while always satisfying the taste buds. Tuesday nights for half-price wine bottles, Wednesday for $2 beer night.
China's moon mission sees first seeds sprout.
Or upgrade your evenings Tuesdays
They still
through
haven't hit the moon yet?
atmosphere of Temper Grill.
Well, they're on the dark side of the moon, but Mark is trying to say that they didn't.
Like the 20% of the dark side of the moon that exists?
Well, yeah,
Or make a simple dinner
but it's like the first time anybody's landed over there. So now they're trying to say that they may be fake.
unforgettable
Cares if they landed have they made it to the moon at all?
Yeah, well, I mean, not humans, just robots. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's you know, but they have a mission there to sprout seeds, and they've grown some seeds. So yesterday, their first seed sprouted.
On the moon?
On the moon.
Oh.
The moon lander sprouted a plant, but now it's dead. So it sprouted. It tried, and then died. Ooh, that's a slogan. Dude, I would have put that on my kill cards for my unit when I was in the service. You tried, but you died. Ah, savage. We had some good kill cards too. That would have been savage. You leave it on the bodies of dead people when you kill them in war. We didn't call it that.
But it's calling.
But it's
Like
not.
something serial killers do.
Right, but it's, you know, it's a death card. It's dead.
That's not sadistic.
No, not at all. We don't take their ears or anything. All right, one guy. But he put him in alcohol. It's cool.
Mine said, "Why wouldn't you just try?"
Oh man!
And so
You try, but you died.
of going back to smoking. I couldn't even imagine doing that. I don't think anyone.
There it is. I would love Greg Gutfeld's take on this because this is right up his alley.
Third line, 32 character limit. But they were showing a thing of.
My name's Dave Titus with International RV in Elkhart, Indiana. You know, one of the things that we see people that are really concerned with.
Good.
They can actually
that should be a thing that should have been enacted years ago.
Oh my gosh, I could never have one of those. And we have units that started around $100 a month. It's all about the fun.
Casey, the host. If that doesn't work, try Cock the Rooster. Like Cock, like Hawk. On PSN. I think it's Casey, the host, but
My salespeople will spend
because the
time
rooster's a cock.
What they're wanting to do with an RV, where they're wanting to go, how they're
Because
going to use
in my gamer tag since I was like this big.
high pressure.
Because I was a kid.
Having my arms twisted.
No.
I was a kid and they wouldn't let me spell it the other way. So I was like, a hawk, but with a C. I was so smart. I got around their filters. I think I'm almost positive, dude, that I sent you a friend request. Like I am almost positive that I did. I'm logging in right now.
294-5678. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and in any location. I am not a realtor or associated with any real estate company. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more.
The judge is going on his book tour.
I buy inherited
I sure don't care.
houses behind
Oh, look, he's rolling his sleeves up because he's
blue collar.
He's blue collar and he's working.
thousands of dollars in repairs. Great, because I love buying junky houses too.
Down to earth.
I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and foreclosure houses. If you want a house and want to sell it fast and
No comment, dude.
Price, call me at 574-294.
All right, PSN profile. Hold up. All right, so my online ID is Cock the Rooster. Cock like hawk. So, but I swear, Speed, I've sent you a friend request, dude. Swear it. Swear it. Swear it. It's a skull avatar with his head cocked to the side. Because Cock the Rooster's got his head cocked. It's all a running gag. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. I'm also covering for Pat Miller today on News Talk 1190 WOWO, 107.5 FM. And I want to thank the Fort Wayne listening audience for joining us. And if you are interested in saving 50% on your range time by going to play with your boomstick, you can go to Second Amendment Arms and Range in New Carlisle. Simply whisper my name. I would recommend you do it creepily and seductively, because I think that Paul might give you an extra discount if you do that. It's entirely possible. Just be like Casey sent me. I can't do it because I'm not sexy. But if you are, you can go and whisper my name and save half off your range time. You can also get rentals, rifle and pistol, indoor range, so you can get out of the snow. SecondAmendmentArms.net, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so New York, NBC affiliate, NBC4. They dumb. So this is what they did. Somebody broke into somebody's house in New Jersey, right? So this guy fought off a, quote, unwanted house visitor. This is the tweet. Police say a New Jersey man fought off an unwanted house visitor by using the suspect's own gun, ultimately killing him. An unwanted... Now, here's the thing, though. This is not the only time that I've seen this over the past couple of weeks. I've seen other news outfits do the same thing. Uninvited house guest was one, and unwanted house visitor is another one. Now, when you go to the article and you go through the actual words of the article, they call the person an intruder. But on the left-hand side there, where it says what to know, it is still unwanted house visitor. The Twitter responses to this are still glorious, by the way. People are coming up with all of the other things you could have called this person. So I guess in a world where we are not allowed to keep people who don't belong in the country out by building barriers to keep them out, because somehow that's inhumane, I guess it would be technically wrong to call somebody an intruder when they come into your home. How many times have people who are pro-border security on all sides of the aisle, because it's not a conservative issue at all, how many times have we said, hey, why don't you open up your house and let them come in that? Why do you lock your doors? Walls don't work. Don't lock your doors. Don't build your house with walls. Walls don't work. And lo and behold, this is just them doing just that. No, they're not intruders. They're not invaders. They're not criminals. Nope, they're just unwanted house visitors. Okay. Touche, I guess. This, just folks, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. This is, who writes this stuff? Who even thinks that this is okay? So some of the people on Twitter, what a weird euphemism for an armed home invader. Yeah, exactly. Might as well said a stranger who hasn't yet become a friend with a gun. Yeah, I like that one, actually. It's potential future friend. It's unwanted house visitor. Oh, boy. Yeah, we're all going to die. Rihanna, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Hi there.
Didn't the just call a stabbing that happened in Mishawaka like an unwanted altercation or an unwanted stabbing?
I think there was one that was local that did that too. Because I remember there being more than 2 stories about that. Because there's the one that was an uninvited house guest or something like that. And then there was this one. And then I thought there might have been 1 or 2 more out there. Was that in Mishawaka?
Yeah, it was a stabbing in Mishawaka. And it was like an unwanted altercation or an unwanted stabbing.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that people who have been victimized are always going to be in an unwanted altercation.
I mean, I walk around wanting to get stabbed daily, don't you?
Well, I mean, yes, but I have a different circumstance and a different life than you have. So
that's true.
Those of us who may desire that sort of a thing are a little off. But yeah, that's right. I'd totally forgotten about the local angle on that, but I do remember some people sending that to me. But yeah, so hey, if we're going to change the language of it, you know, what is next?
I don't know, but we could have a field day with this.
Well, remember when they started saying that the police are looking for suspects, and if you have any information, give us a call, and then they would not give you a description of the suspect because of the color of their skin. Remember that?
So everyone's a suspect.
So this used to happen all the time, and then they started putting the clothing descriptions on there. But this, happens on a routine basis. And then you're sitting there and you're looking at everybody who wears jeans. I'm like, can you give me anything else? Something? And then you end up finding out, oh, there was a narrative here, and we can't have people looking for the wrong people.
How can everyone be a suspect if everyone is presumed innocent until they're proven guilty in a court of law?
See? There's got to be a way that we could twist those words around, too. Exactly, 100%.
I mean, I'm here to help.
Yeah. Like I said, we're all going to die. The robots are looking more and more optimal as the days go by. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Rihanna. You take care.
You're welcome.
All right.
Bye.
Unwanted. What is it? Unwanted. No, not the altercation one. Hold on, I gotta get back to this one here. Unwanted house visitor. Yeah, unwanted house visitor. You know what? When I make my next batch of shirts, because people want me to do the 1/1024th bit, maybe I will do 1/1024th unwanted house visitor. That's what I'll do on the shirt with my logo, and then you guys can go and pick those up. We got more coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, also covering for Pat Miller on Newstalk 1190 WOWO 107.5 FM.
KC Hendrickson, Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists 5-day forecast.
Winter weather.
Well, that last segment probably sounded weird because I had everybody's thing on. What do we have?
Temper Grill endorsement coming up in like a minute.
Temper? Is it my week for Temper?
Apparently.
Okay.
It says.
Oakley dokley. It's my week for Temper, yo.
Looks to be steady and possibly significant snowfall on Saturday with a high of 22. Then temperatures drop into Sunday, the high just 16.
A stabbing is an unwanted surgical procedure. There we go.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Coombs.
An unrequested piercing. How about that? An unrequested body piercing. After this? Oh, yeah. Here we go. 20 seconds, baby. Mm-hmm. Can you give me a countdown when I get to a minute? Give me a countdown when I get to a minute. Hey, everybody. Casey Hendrickson here for Temper Grill. Today's Tuesday, which means it is Wine Tuesday at Temper Grill. Half off bottles of wine over at Temper Grill. And again, people always ask me, Casey, what should I get? What should be the first thing that I have over there? Look, you can't go wrong with some of the staple dishes like steak bites, maybe pork bites. The lobster mac is a signature dish of Chef Sean over there. A lot of people go for the street tacos. The street tacos are amazing. The temper noodles are amazing. Those have become two of his best dishes. You can't go wrong with the wings either, because the wings have actually won the best wings in Michiana. Go to tempergranger.com. You can see their standard menu there and make your reservations. You can also make your reservations by going to their Facebook page or, of course, giving them a call. Temper Grill, food with attitude.
So the word different is used a lot.
Did you give me a 10? Oh. I thought it was a. I thought it was a.
My bad. Giving me 30, and I was going to give you 10.
It's cool.
And different really does sum up what they do at Impress Jewelry Creations. They've got customizable engagement rings with fully.
All right, you sent me a request. Cool. When I get home today, man, I'll
I don't know
I'll get it. What?
I don't know which one of the 10-year challenge will be which.
That this team has, and it really
Oh my God.
the dream team. They have worked together in various
Back before he started working out and stuff.
years, and it really shows. They have diamonds, regardless of the size, shape, and
He's like Jeff Bezos. Like, he really improved. Like, that's impressive.
When I say different, I mean they are different. You can feel the minute you walk into Impress Jewelry Creations. University Park Drive, the same plaza as Temper Grill.
Looking for a cool way to get a new air conditioning and heating system without breaking the bank? The Advantage program from BW Cook Service Experts gets you high-quality AC and heating equipment for one low monthly rate. There's no
Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to
repairs
Casey?
and seasonal semester free. Right now, get a new home comfort system as low as $99 a month and no additional
All right.
charges covered.
We're at
BW Cook Service Experts today at 866-EXPERTS or visit bwcook.com. See website for license details.
Message and data rates may apply.
If you're considering going back to school,
Can you give me the location one more time?
questions. Do you need the flexibility to take classes on your schedule? Do you have college credits you need transferred? Do you want to earn a quality degree from a
I will pass that
world-renowned
on and make
university?
sure it gets
Learn for yourself why the Wall Street Journal ranks ASU fifth in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates, and why 87% of ASU grads are recruited within 90 days of graduation. Text project to 35517. That's PROJECT to 35517.
It's time to get dirt rich with new Poncho Botivo 2.0.
If they wanted to apply for a job, would it be through the FedEd site?
Yeah, Federated Media, or they can come in and ask for an application, I guess.
You can go to FedEd site, or you can come in and ask for an application.
All with the trusted insect and nematode protection you're
No problem.
used to. So be dirt rich, because that's smart. Ask your
Jack, she
CEO
called
for
me
the
Joe.
new Poncho Botivo
Huh?
2.0
Jack, she called me Joe.
Oh, wow.
She said southbound on the bypass.
Okay, you can tell the people about it. It ain't my job.
Right, I know, but southbound on the bypass.
Okay, you can tell people about it. It ain't my job.
Between Mayflower and
No, you can tell people about it. It ain't my job.
to elevate the role of dads in kids' lives.
The more cowbell meme. All right, I will. I will check it out.
Care here. DJ Construction, building into our community.
Somebody just asked me to do an event at 5 Star, and so my first thought was 5 Star Life, but it didn't make sense for the location. So, but see, I asked if it was 5-star massage, and then they said 5-star dive bar. I'm like, never heard of it. I don't know, never heard of it. So, and good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That's 2595-953. You can also send me a text message at 45364. Please put MNC or WOWO at the beginning of that message. We are covering for Pat Miller on News Talk 1190 WOWO, 107.5 FM today. I want to thank all of you for joining us. Joe's got a traffic update for everybody in my Michiana audience. What's going on?
Southbound between Mayflower and 23, there's not an accident, but there's a few cops on this. There's a few cars on the side of the road with cops, and everyone is over in the left-hand lane, just crawling that way, just going slow.
All right, we appreciate those updates. Thank you for calling those in. Okay, so a couple of text messages floating in here. Casey, Procter & Gamble own Gillette. I know. I said that. Gamble was heavily involved in Planned Parenthood in the beginning. Gillette just continuing Gamble's social meddling as a business model. This is the thing. They've largely steered clear. I mean, yeah, because the parent company, people tend to be less offended at a parent company. They tend to be brand loyal. So even though people are less brand loyal as we go forward now, especially younger generations, like millennials are not brand loyal like previous generations. So, but if you like Gillette, if Procter & Gamble does something with one of their other products, you're less likely to pull away from Gillette because of it. But now, you're using the actual brand itself, and people are not real happy about that. Not at all. Let's see. It used to be a headline like unwanted house visitor would be a skunk or a raccoon, maybe a deer or something like that got into the house. Funny headline, but not anymore. Yeah, exactly. Somebody said that a stabbing is an unwanted surgical procedure. You could also go with an unrequested body piercing. All of those things I think kind of work out. Stabbings are not fun. They're nothing to joke about. Trust me, been there. But at the same time, when you have headlines like that and they're not even correcting it, it's like NBC is like, whatever, we're just going to roll with this. It's like, what are you thinking? Anyway. All right. Former FBI attorney James Baker, he's being investigated as the person who leaked that President Trump was being investigated by the FBI as being a Russian agent, which of course is ludicrous and nonsensical. They didn't find anything. So obviously it was dumb. It was a retaliatory thing. But it is James Baker that is the guy that is being pegged for the investigation on this thing. His former top lawyer at the FBI has been under federal investigation for leaking to the media, according to the House Republicans on, today. Let's see. In 2017, Circa reported that Baker was under a Department of Justice criminal investigation for allegedly leaking classified national security information concerning the Trump administration to the media. And now, this duplicitous leak to the Trump as a secret Russian agent is also being added to all of that. Let's see. This is disgusting, as the president himself noted, and extremely insulting. Baker has dirty hands and indeed appears to be a key figure in the Red November narrative and plot to destroy the president, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, again, it's just an investigation. Doesn't mean he's actually the guy, but he has been under investigation for leaking in the past. So it would make sense that he would actually be one of those guys that did that. Then you have the latest bit with the president meeting with Putin. So the president met with Putin. I know that this is going to come as a shock for all of you out there. World leaders have meetings with one another and they discuss things. And sometimes you don't know what those things are because, well, they're world leaders and it involves national security and a bunch of stuff that they don't want people to know about. So again, a little shocking to some of you. I understand. Washington Post dropped another whopper meant to cause shockwaves throughout the Democrat media complex. According to the Washington Post, President Trump did not tell every little detail of his meeting with Vladimir Putin in Finland. So Washington Post is basically saying he's hiding all of this from his people. Well, Ambassador John Bolton's chief of staff, Fred Fleitz, says that senior U.S. officials knew everything that was discussed during Trump's meeting with Putin. And he actually went out there onto Twitter and said, this is totally false. He tweeted at the reporter
And he says, I was John Bolton's chief of staff at NSC. Senior U.S. officials know everything that was discussed in the one-on-one with real Donald Trump and Putin in Helsinki. So, and then he hashtagged it with at CNN fake news. So, once again, they're out there just, the media is just throwing things at the wall. That's all they're doing continuously over and over and over again. And you would think, now, okay, here's the thing. We say this, but understand that I'm saying this with a grain of salt because I understand that that's not how things are. You would think at some point in time, the news media would be tired of being wrong, okay? So they constantly run to push something out there on the television or in print, and they are consistently incorrect about it. They are then proven to be incorrect about it. They issue corrections, retractions. Sometimes people get fired. And then you would think at that point they would slow down, right? Especially after CNN said, you're not going to publish anything about this until you run it through us first. Remember when CNN did that on the Trump-Russia collusion thing? They had to fire people because they published something that was not true. And then CNN said, that's it. You're not going to be publishing anything until you run it through us first. And they still continue to make those mistakes, still even to this day. And of course, we told you back then it really wouldn't help things either. But so you'd think that at some point the press would look at this and go, all right, let's slow down and actually start verifying some of this stuff before we put it out there to the public because we're kind of getting embarrassed. But no. And part of the reason that they're not stopping is because, well, frankly, so many people, many of you are included in that, continue to give them some leeway in publishing this stuff. Many of you still believe things that they've published that they've retracted that you still say are true. Jim Acosta, for a year, for crying out loud, was still running around talking about these 13 intelligence agencies things. It was a total lie. It never even happened. But he was still saying it. So I guess the media hasn't learned their lesson, but how can they learn their lesson if people give them excuses and circle the wagons for them, right? That's kind of what's been happening. Hey, folks, I do want to thank you for watching and listening. For those of you who listened on the radio, thank you very much. And on the streaming apps, we appreciate it, or the websites. I do want to remind everybody that the State of the State address will be carried right here on this station, both in Fort Wayne and in Michiana tonight at 7.
What do you need done on your house?
Boy.
The basement could be finished. The kitchen.
All right. State of the State is at 7. Forgot to mention that a lot of the show.
That's what we call Graver Custom Remodeling.
When things aren't written on my normal sheet, I kind of miss them. But thank you, Mike.
Remember news twice.
So, all right. So 5-star dive bars in downtown Elkhart.
Yeah.
And so-and-so told me that apparently Jason Lee and Cluck hang out there. So I'm not sure I want to do an event there.
They do a lot of stuff.
Okay, but how is it?
It's a bar.
So?
I've never been there.
You don't have fake ID?
No.
What kind of an 18-year-old are you?
The kind that lives with the pastor dad.
You should be like out there like whoring yourself and stuff. That's what you're supposed to do if you're the kid of a pastor, right? Okay. Who has been to 5-star dive bar, and is it an okay place to do a show at?
Your top story is under right now. Go. I'm Lisa Lestep, Fox News. President Trump's pick for Attorney General facing hours of scrutiny. Lawmakers.
Will he be facing scrutiny even if he wasn't Trump?
Yes. Good night, everybody. I'm genuinely curious. Is 5-star dive bar a good place or not? I mean, you know.
You could probably ask Stryker. Darcy's upstairs. You can go ask Darcy.
You know, I would trust Darcy, but the fact that Jason Lee and Cluck hang out there makes me have less respect for the place. So
why though, Casey?
Because it's Jason Lee and Cluck. They have no class, no taste.
We need to stop.
I'm just sitting here and I'm like, God, nobody's sending me any messages. Is it a good place or not?
Members and their families who are suffering. We have Border Patrol agents.
Maybe nobody knows. I feel like maybe I have heard of it, but I don't know. It doesn't sound all that familiar.
President Trump yesterday, he's not budging.
I think he understands what most Americans understand. That it's
Mishawaka stop sign violations. Oh, damn. It's going to go down.
Nobody knows how to stop at a stop sign, apparently. Just like they don't know how to obey bus stops.
Never been there. Well, all right. I'm going to bounce out then.
But more than a month after China cut taxes, the Dow added 155 points, the Nasdaq plus 117, the S&P rose 27 points. This is Fox News.
Hit the like button.
I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. Today's fluctuating interest rates can leave you with unexpected higher mortgage payments. At Quicken Loans, we've created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest rates so you can buy a home with certainty. It's called Rate Shield, and here's how it works. With Rate Shield, you can lock your interest rate while you shop for a new home. So if rates go up, you don't have to worry. And here's the best part. If